Okay, trying to do it now. Are we
Let's
live
just
now?
try it later.
I just got a very
Are we live?
fast Luca moving. Yes, we do. Well, it says upcoming,
Says here we're live.
and now I'm in it. Yes.
Okay, so it's working.
So we're live.
Uh,
Okay.
awesome. I will.
I'm putting a thing in the.
Okay, cool. Tag everyone.
Yeah, I am.
So we're live right now. It's
Yeah,
rolling.
we are. We are live. This is happening.
Just give me a moment. Eh,
Oh my god. I love like you have just the anime body language of like just doing random uh,
Hell yeah. I'm going to be like, woo.
Yeah, we're gonna have to explain that you are two people, Guy.
we will. I'm waiting for a few
There's
people.
one watching now, and it's me.
There, it says here there's 0 viewers. I'll refresh chat. I'll refresh. Nope. Okay. No, it still just says 0 viewers.
I'm
Oh,
not
first.
even in my home. This is in my house.
Yeah, he's using a fake background that he drew.
You know what?
Oh. Oh, there's
How
an
do you
update.
make that? I kind of want to stick one of those on my thing.
You could. That could be your new thing.
Wait,
How
where
do
did
I
you?
do
Oh,
this?
Septic's online. Hello, Septic. Actually,
Watch live now. Combat Ready Studios. Pitch creators live stream.
I.
What's
How do I
poppin'?
how do I stick a picture like that over the top of my thing in Discord?
Uh.
Well, you need an app. It's called
Oh,
OBS.
oh. Okay, never mind.
What's
I was
poppin',
thinking of
Septic?
sticking one of the things I
I.
drew. Hello, Septic.
I think I'm gonna sit
Beautiful. I
on
was just
top of
pulling
this.
an L. Okay.
All
There's
right,
three
so
of
what's the
us.
plan?
Right. I guess we're just chatting shit until some more people get here, and then we can actually start talking about all the stuff that we're gonna talk about.
How pitch
All right,
works.
let's talk about updates then. Let's update people on us. Like, let's introduce ourselves. Wait, no, let's save the introduction later.
Yeah. Let's
Since
make
this is
it.
just like
There's very few
regular
people.
commentary stuff.
Yeah, there's very few people here. Actually, I'll just post like do a community post saying that we're streaming. Just
Yeah, and we do timestamps too, if someone has the time to add the timestamps.
do we have what timestamps?
No, like that's after. Hey, good enough.
Beautiful. Perfect.
Like afterwards, we can like once the
I
thing is
can't
done,
hold
we
him
can
there all
put
stream.
like in the comments timestamps so that people know if they're curious about something, they can just skip to that part.
Yeah.
Wait, the thumbnail is not the thumbnail that I put up. I think. Huh.
Hmm,
What's it actually? No, wait,
that's
no,
weird.
the thumbnail is working. Huh.
It's changed. It's now pitch and Edelweiss for me.
That's weird. That shouldn't be the case.
It was pitch standing in front of the fire when I clicked on it.
Yeah, it was supposed to be that. Um.
We are new to YouTube streaming, if you hadn't realized.
Yeah, we set this one up like
Very.
last minute. Nice knife.
I would have been the one to do the streaming and stuff, but the problem with that is the fact that, well, it blew up.
Yeah.
My Wi-Fi is blowing up.
You need an internet connection to be able to host a streaming.
Luca had to evacuate his house a little while back and
Super. Yes.
hide.
Funny story about that. My house's internet, well, not just internet, electricity as a whole exploded. Well, over exaggeration, but it kind of popped out of nowhere, and I had no electricity for like 7 hours as the company called me. So the best thing to do is because my room was so hot, I couldn't sleep. It was so hot. I had to travel with my pillow in my pajamas. I went outside and went to 7-Eleven and asked, "Hey, you mind if I sleep here?" They were like, "Yeah, cool, it's no problem," because one of them's my homie. So I sat inside the control room where it was like freezing cold, and it was amazing. And I can see
Oh, at
everybody
least
in
you were in a
the
control room. I
cameras.
thought you were just on the floor
I
under
was
your
supposed
duvet.
to be there, but then it was just my homie and his friend and me, so we were just 3 people total. So there was a lot of space in the control room. So
Awesome.
I slept in a 7-Eleven.
Awesome. I mean, not awesome, but you know what I mean.
It's awesome for me. I love adventures.
It is something that very few people can claim.
Yeah.
Unless they've worked at
Exactly.
7-Eleven and decided to go to sleep on the job.
Now that's real sleeping. If people, if I say I slept at 7-Eleven, people would think, "Oh, you worked there?" No, I walked up to them and said, "You mind if I sleep here?" My house exploded.
Someone's
Nah.
asking, did they give you a blanket later? And he froze.
Did they give you a blanket? Nope. I brought my own stuff.
Oh boy, you are cutting out.
Yeah, if I heard someone saying they slept at 7-Eleven, I thought that's a fairly late time to go to sleep.
It's not for us. Also, Luke
No,
is
it's not.
completely frozen.
Yeah, as we've said,
I think I'm
Luca's
good now.
internet is not the best at times.
Am I good now?
Right now, yeah.
All right.
Yep.
So to make my answer quick, no, I got my own blanket, my own pillows. I even walked in there with pajamas, and I had no wallet at the time. But you know what I had? These fantastic DT990 250 ohm headphones.
We are
I brought it
not
alongside
sponsored.
my phone.
I love how we've just decided to say spell out the entire name every time those headphones are mentioned. It's the law now.
It's worth it. It's worth it. It's just like Jean Art. It slips off the tongue. You know what I mean?
Oh god, it's been so long since I watched early Ruby. Just all these quotes. It's just like I used to just constantly like quote volumes 1 to 3 on a daily basis, and now I haven't in a while. And you start doing it again.
Yes, if one of us was
It's time.
completely obsessed with Ruby at the time when pitch started, it was Guy.
Okay, but you weren't too far
Oh,
behind.
I wasn't too far behind though, considering I came up with pitch.
Yeah. But how about at 10 past we start with
Yeah,
our
that's
introductions
fine.
and so 3 minutes. Send,
All right, we got 3 minutes to dabble around and do
Hopefully
whatever
we
we
get
want.
some
Did you
more
say
people
dab?
from the.
No, no, please don't.
No, I won't. I would never.
Hopefully we get some more
It's-
people
it's-
from the Discord
It
popping
ain't
in.
2017.
I have a friend who does. Like he unironically dabs all the time. Cause like
You know what I unironically do? This and this.
yeah, that's true. Yeah. Like the thing is, his sense of humor is it boils down to he waits. So first a joke is in, like a meme is in, a meme is funny, and then it stops being in, and then it becomes kind of cringe, and then it just becomes so cringe that when someone does it, everyone else just freaks the fuck out, and that's when he starts finding the thing funny.
So he finds it funny after the fact.
He finds it funny once everyone else is sick of it. As
I'm
long
talking
as
about
So
me or
me.
Luca here.
as long as it's actually in, he doesn't like it. But once people are sick of it, that's when he starts doing it.
That's so me, man. I love doing that. It pisses people off, and
It
that's
does.
just hilarious.
It's fantastic. Like I would probably, yeah,
Yeah.
I probably would have dabbed if it wouldn't just immediately cause everyone to unsubscribe. It's just not
I
the
would
first
puke
thing.
right here, right now.
Now,
Exactly.
I can do it because I'm not on camera.
Do it.
I
Do
did.
it.
Do it.
You probably heard my shoulder hitting my microphone.
I didn't actually. Just do it.
No.
All right, we got a minute left, boys.
Hang
We
on.
have a question.
What was the initial thought process regarding the creation of pitch? Did you guys just talk about it, then really get really into it, or settle into the idea after some what if thoughts? That's
I cornered Guy in a
Yeah.
dark alleyway and ranted to him for 3 hours.
yeah. We'll tell the long story in a bit. But yeah,
I can't
no.
say anything here.
Yeah,
I
Luca
joined
totally.
in like two. I joined like 2 years or
I
3 years.
think you
after.
joined a couple of years in, yeah.
Yeah, because you
And then-
came over with Edelweiss, didn't you?
Yeah, and then immediately
Right,
made
yeah.
yourself indispensable. This, where would we be without you?
Artless.
Where would I be without me?
No, years. Yeah, Page started, like, we actually started working on it 4 years ago. And, Drengade
was
had...
it 5 years ago, actually, I think.
No, can't. It was 2018. Oh my god, it was 5 years ago. Holy shit. No, time, slow
I
down.
remember that. Oh
Yeah.
my lord!
Okay.
Wait,
Effectively,
It's
we
10 past.
started knowing nothing. We
Okay.
started as Jon Snow.
It's 10 past. Okay, let's actually get this started properly. So,
before that, I'm 18 right now, and I joined in when I was 14.
Wait, you did? You were that young?
Mm-hmm.
no,
Mm-hmm.
that means you joined 4 years ago. Oh no, nope, nope. I'm
Uh,
feeling old.
Yeah, yeah,
we employed a
yes, yes.
14-year-old.
Actually, because
Employed.
my
We didn't pay
birthday
him.
is
We haven't paid
March.
him yet,
My
but we
birthday
did
is
promise to pay
March,
him.
and I joined in Edelweiss around November, December. So
Oh,
technically, it is 4 years somewhat.
oh my
So I
god.
joined in when I was 14. Oh
Oh
Lord, it's
no. Oh, I misjudged time. I'm.
Yeah.
I'll
badly.
be like. By the way, I will be 23 in 4 days.
I think I'm 24. I forget. How old am I?
Forget. Oh. Anyway,
1 year closer to dying.
right, guys, let's actually get started with introductions. So
All right,
first
good
off,
point.
by the way, there's four. Like you might see four people here. There's only three. Because I don't have a webcam, so I'm using an alt account for my camera. So I'm the Aaron profile picture, but the other video is also me. That's just my video. Um, so I'm Guy. I don't have no. Okay. I'm terrible
Yeah,
at
I'm
introductions.
24.
I'm terrible at introductions. I'm studying animation, did a degree in film and TV production, and which got completely fucked over due to COVID. So I basically started everything again. Uh, I tried to make a sci-fi blockbuster when I was 10 years old or 11 years old. I don't think I told you guys about this one actually.
No, you
Uh,
didn't.
I didn't. No, it just that was the first time that
Never.
I really got into filmmaking. Just decided, hey, no, how about I write a script? Me and a friend, we write a script about kids who build a spaceship and go to Mars and fight aliens. And then I pitched that to my local film studio because there was
Hey,
a film studio in the city I grew up in. And it's like then we just get a budget. I emailed John Williams so he could compose the score. He never replied. Shocker. Yeah, that's like one of my most embarrassing memories.
You, you were punching above the belt.
That's I always have been. That is literally like every single project I have ever started. I have been way over ambitious about it. This is the one
I
time
can
that I've actually
guarantee that.
yeah, this is the one time that
Happened to
actually
me.
this is the one time that I actually managed to finish the project. Well, finished. This was like the first trailer of 5 and that's before the series. We're getting ahead of ourselves. Sorry, Dren, do you want to introduce yourself?
Yeah, so I'm Drengade. I am the original person who came up with the concept of pitch, although I would not have been able to or even attempted to do anything with it myself before meeting Guy. Effectively, one of my favorite things to do is world build. And so pitch grew from me world building around Ruby. Outside of that, I'm actually a biologist. I'm not any part of animation or anything like that by training, but I, over the course of doing pitch, taught myself to model. I have taught myself character design, and Guy likes what I make, so hopefully I'm decent at it.
We all like
Uh,
what you make.
yes, okay.
This guy.
I'm also the
Genius.
person who does all the rigging, and if anyone knows how annoying rigging is, that is my least favorite part of the job. Uh,
I've
um,
done a little bit. It's horrible.
I don't have any
Same. I broke
long
mine.
story about something I did as a child, which is embarrassing and vaguely relates to this. But I do have the fact that the entire reason pitch started is I heard Guy use Team Juniper in as a team name in a society event at uni, and then cornered him on a path at the university and ranted at him about Ruby and then pitch for 3 hours. When we started, it was still bright, and by the time we finished, it was pitch black.
Ha! Pitch black.
And I didn't
I
have
remember
any
that story.
intention
Yeah.
of it actually becoming a proper thing at the time because I couldn't write, I couldn't model or animate at the time, and I was busy with uni work, and then it just ballooned into this.
Now look at his ass.
Yeah, I mean,
Doing all this cool
Do not look at
stuff.
my ass.
I said it's like, from my perspective, yeah. So he cornered me for 3 hours, and every like, it was like so much a massive onslaught of information that I like forgot everything as soon as I heard it. But I remember really, really liking it whenever I heard, whatever I was hearing, thinking like, oh man, this is a really interesting idea, and then it was gone. So I finished like these 3 hours going, I don't know what you said, but it's fantastic. Let's do it. It was like, wait, let's do it? What do you mean? Because, yeah, it turns out basically I was working on an animated project at the time. And I had the false confidence that actually I know how this stuff works, so I can totally, I can totally get this made. And, yeah, it turns out that other project kind of sunk.
He did not.
No, get that project. At least it's on indefinite hiatus because I did not. So basically, yeah. But at the time, I was like, yeah, no, we could totally turn this into a series. Super easy, barely an inconvenience. And then, yeah, basically, I asked him to send me everything that he told me just via text. Just make a document with all the stuff and send it to me. And then I read
I don't
it.
by default write stuff down. By default it's all just in the head.
We do still have that original document.
We do
Everything's
somewhere.
changed.
It's way out of date now.
Anyway, we went on a tangent again. This is going to happen a lot, by the way. Luca,
We
do
go
you
on
want to introduce yourself?
All right. Before I introduce myself, I'm gonna go ahead and read this. Welcome Red Raptor 109 and welcome Jalen Settles and Septic. What's up, Septic? So I'm Luca, and I'm basically the guy that does everything that isn't 3D animation, 3D modeling, or any of the stuff you actually see in the official Steel trailer. I'm the guy that does the music videos. I'm the guy that does the voice acting and sounds. Basically, anything that they need, I could.
Has he frozen again?
Yeah, he's frozen again.
He has bad internet.
Yeah.
We do.
We can hear you
Maybe.
right now.
That's why they call me the magic department in these parts.
Yeah.
Wait, you can hear me?
Yeah. He also he
Alright.
also does thumbnails,
Never
for
mind.
example. Some concept art. Just everything 2D artwork related, really.
He is every single voice you have thus far heard in pitch.
I am
Actually,
every
every
voice
single voice
that
you've
you have
heard in
ever
any
heard.
animation we've put out. 'Cause he's also both the voices in Leo and Crow.
Yeah. Oh god, I love that one. Like if you guys have seen Judgmental Critters video of that, she was talking about how the voice actors are really good. Like, oh, Luca's gonna like to hear this. There are no voice actors. There's a voice actor who did both voices. And he's frozen again.
He is
Luca?
very talented
Yeah.
when it comes to that.
Very talented and very frozen. Luca, you there? Oh god.
We have told him that we will eventually pay him one single potato chip and a shoestring, and that's what he's working towards with us.
One day he'll earn his payment. Come on. Oh, something changed, something moved, but we still can't hear you. Hello?
No. I have this thing whenever I lose connection, I just strike a pose, hoping I come back.
Amazing. But yeah, sorry, we were just discussing your payment of a potato chip and a shoestring. I can't speak.
They haven't paid me for my work yet. It's unbelievable.
I haven't paid
I
me
can't
for my
believe
work
myself.
yet.
I haven't paid you. And me.
Yeah, this.
No one's getting paid, man.
Septic did.
Yeah, we will occasionally pay for commissions if we've brought
But
someone skilled in to work on something. One
Yeah.
single thing.
Basically, the three of us don't get paid.
Yeah,
Yep.
mainly.
We are not the only members of the team. There are other people around.
A lot
it's
of them are
just
like
that-
on and off.
Yeah, they'll come in and work on something for a bit, and then they'll be gone for a couple of months. Whereas us three are almost constantly there in some regard.
We're like the core
all,
team right now.
all the time.
Yeah, we're actually expanding our team for the mask trailer, which is going to be the
Yep.
second trailer. I'm really excited for this one. We actually got like somehow we got like a professional fight choreography to help us with the fight choreography, Wait, did I say professional fight?
You
I
said
said
choreography
I'm
instead
an
of
idiot.
choreographer.
Yeah, I'm okay. Yeah, we got a professional fight choreographer to help us out with the choreography for the second fight. So this thing, the choreography was one thing that I wasn't really like always happy with how it turned out in the Steel Trail. I'm not very good at choreographing fights, so I was a little bit out of my depth. But yeah, we're really excited to watch us improve in the master trailer. Like this is the thing, we know like there's a lot of things that weren't you know weren't entirely I wasn't entirely happy with the Steel trailer, and we will be improving the heck out of those for the master trailer. Um, really
We
excited.
learned our mistakes. Now it's time to do it
Bear
for
in mind,
real.
the pitch model. Excuse me for a moment. I know there were two adult pitch models in it. There's normal pitch and burnt pitch, as they're called in the file names. But normal pitch, and by an extension burnt pitch, because I made them at the same time, just swapped bits in and out, were the first models I ever made in Blender. And the first 3D models I had made for with any actual effort in, for approximately a year and a half.
Yeah, you learned fast.
They are rather
it's
old
such a
for me
good
now. There's
model.
so many problems with pitch that have already been corrected with the next two characters, even though there are still multiple problems with them as well. It's just the case that every time I finish something, I realize something I could have done better. Then I put it in the next model, that there's still something else to improve.
Right, by the way, do you guys do you want to talk about how we um just go through the creation of the Steel trailer from the beginning, because that was an adventure.
From the beginning,
and that was
we messed up. We really messed up.
We messed up so much, so many times. Holy shit! So initially,
I just came in like halfway.
yeah.
And when you came in, everything actually seemed to streamline.
We came in when things
we couldn't.
You came in when things were starting to get better. But yeah. So what happened with Right. So at first, pitch was quite different. It had a very different story. We wrote like volume 1 before we actually wrote most of the trailers. We had an entire like, character arc and a story and all of that done before we even really started with the trailers. And initially, pitch was supposed to be a lot more like a homage.
Hello, Chrysalis.
Oh, Chrysalis! Look at that.
That's me, by the way.
Yeah.
Wrong. I logged in on the wrong account. Anyway, you were saying.
Anyway, sorry. Shit. Hang on. Let me remember. Yeah. So pitch was supposed to be much more of a homage to Ruby. Like it was supposed to have a lot more there were a lot of parallels to the story. It happened alongside Ruby. It was like very closely intertwined with the story of Ruby, and the idea was to make this like a big tribute project for Ruby, where we just get a lot of people together and just a lot of talented artists together and collaborate to make a tribute. Also because I thought at the time that I was good at directing, just didn't know how to animate. So little dumb old me thought, oh, I don't need to learn how to animate myself. I'll just get a bunch of people together, do my directing magic, and they'll actually make the thing. So that, fell apart hard. Because, it turns out no one's ever going to be as invested in your project as you are, and so you can't just go in and go, hi, I'll just tell you what to do, and you do it, unless you're paying them well. And, yeah, so this is why I'm really mad at myself in hindsight. We got some insanely talented people on the project early on. Like, holy shit, considering especially we had basically nothing. We got way more talented people than we had, any right to ask for. And then we mismanaged the shit out of them until most of them left. Because they realized that we didn't know what we were doing. And so like a year or so in, even more, it might have been more than that actually, we eventually went, after once again we lost the people who were like, this isn't getting anywhere. We actually need to start learning how to do this ourselves.
It was a year and a half in, because the first year where we actually started the project, you were in your first year of uni, I was in my last.
Mm-hmm.
And then when I went off and did my master's, and I started modeling pitch about halfway through that
Okay, cool. So yeah,
because I didn't like the current pitch model we had.
yeah, so a year and a half later, we eventually actually started. You know, I started learning animation very reluctantly. He started learning modeling, and after that, I'd like to say that after that things kind of went smoothly, but we still needed help. Like I couldn't animate everything on my own. Ideally, I didn't want to do any of the fights because fights are hard, and I wasn't good enough to, for the fights to be as good as I wanted them to be. So I commissioned several animators actually originally, but through a mixture also of us mismanaging and just not being able to communicate well, and then just like things coming up in the animators' personal lives, and just a lot of things that some of them were our fault, others weren't. Most of the commissions fell through, and I had to animate 2 out of 3 fights myself anyway.
It still
And
ended up really good, and you got some good practice.
thank you. Yeah, I got. They ended up better than I thought they would. Definitely. Especially the second fight. I'm actually really happy with how the second fight turned out. And yeah, I
Yeah.
thought it would be way worse than it was. But yeah, so. What else? Oh yeah, directing. When it comes to directing, I used to be a bit of a micromanager. I used to be very like essentially basically telling the experts on the fields that I got what they were supposed to be doing, like about their field essentially.
Thank you.
It's a common pitfall with directors, where they just assume that they know more about, for example, in this case, sound or music or modeling or animating, whatever, than the people that actually specialize in it. And it took a while. The results also were kind of like it just made everything worse, really. Like Rebuild, for example. As much as I love that song, I micromanaged the shit out of people making it. And just made several decisions that they weren't happy with at the time, and in hindsight, neither am I, because I didn't know what I was doing. Like that song, it could have been better if I'd been a little more hands off. So nowadays, I'm much more. I'm trying to strike a balance between keeping everything in a unified vision, but also letting people have their creative freedom, letting people be experts at the things that they're experts at. I mean, I can't. There's been so many times when Luca did a thing. I was like, actually, Luca, can you change that? Because that's not working. And he just explained why he did it, and was like, actually, no, you're right. Let's keep it like this.
I actually like to do that a lot because I like to listen to people. Like when they tell me to do something, I like to listen to their opinion. But before they go off and say something, I usually like to explain what I did first, so they get an insight of what I did, and then we can decide like, oh, maybe we should go with your idea, or we should keep my idea.
Yeah.
So I like things here like being very open and communicative. So
Yeah.
it's been great here.
Yeah, it's just it's a group effort basically. Like it's not one person pushing against the other and just like a. It's just the both like or just all of us like together trying to figure out what's the best solution for the thing, and that's my favorite.
We do
way of
have
working.
to rein Luca in occasionally, especially with chromatic aberration. But the rest of the time, yeah,
Yes.
we trust Luca to do his stuff
Oh
and all
god,
the rotoscoping.
there's chromatic aberration in everything he does. Everything.
Let's
For
call
those
it.
of you who don't
Let's call
know,
it the style.
for those of you who don't know, chromatic aberration is a thing where it looks it's like what you expect from having 3D glasses on, where you've got a red and a blue image of what's on screen, just moved to the sides a bit.
I can show it actually.
Yeah,
You can explain it much better than I can.
I love it.
I'll I'll
I love it.
I'll show this real quick. Okay, yeah. Hang on. I'll have to switch the window. I think there we go. This is what it looks like. Um, yeah, this is chromatic aberration, and Luca really loves doing it.
I'll have to wait and see if it actually shows up on the stream for that, because of course the stream's a little well behind.
Right. It should be. I switched the thing in the thing.
Yes.
I'm very good at words.
Chromatic aberration.
You can tell that I'm a writer. I'm very good at using words.
I'm very good at descriptions and big words. I cannot write people.
Meanwhile, I can't world build.
You can. I'm just better at it. Hello, Jack.
Meanwhile,
Thank you very
I
much.
can't do anything y'all are doing.
Okay, yeah, the chromatic aberration image worked. It's
Right.
finally popped up for me.
We can't do anything that you're doing. It's fine.
You're learning. You
Haha,
know
I'm
how
a
to rig
valuable
now. You just
asset.
don't want to do it.
Oh god, do not learn to rig,
Yes.
Luca. You will regret it.
I learned to rig, and then it just blew up in my face.
That sounds
You
about
could
right.
rig 2D stuff. I'm pretty sure you're the only person who could do the 2D animation side here.
Yeah, true. Anything. Yeah. No, I wasn't gonna say anything drawing related,
Correction.
but that is long since outdated.
Correction. I can do all the 2D stuff. I can do all the 2D stuff for free.
Yes,
Yeah.
that as well.
Uh, um,
It's probably a good thing that we weren't actually employing anyone on the team when we started, or otherwise we would have been illegally hiring Luca for like 4 years.
yeah.
I did not realize you were that young.
No money, no job, minority.
I remember like when we first met. I know just you were already just like a great artist and great musician. Going, you know, this kid is so talented at 14. What's he gonna be doing like several years from now? Like once he's actually in his prime, and wow, like you're not like again.
Casey.
You're still gonna be improving. Like you're not in like you're probably even not in your prime yet, and you're already blowing my mind.
Thanks, God. I hope so.
Yeah, honestly, I mean you were blowing my mind from the very beginning, and you just keep getting fucking better at everything you do all the time.
And his fleet of headphones keeps expanding.
Yes, yes. Wait a minute.
We'll wait. Oh.
Does anyone have any questions about the pitch trailer they want to stick in the chat? We'll see if.
Oh yeah.
I was gonna pull out all my headphones, but I thought that's kind of a bad idea, because I don't think I can grab it from all that.
Yeah.
Stuff over
Raptor,
there.
he collects
well.
headphones because he's a sound artist, so he needs
Oh,
all the
shit.
headphones.
Oh,
Shit!
you okay?
Oh shit! I broke my camera.
What?
Oh shit!
Wait, what?
No.
I'm just waiting to
Here's
see
the
the image
stand.
disappear from the stream now.
Oh my god.
Oh,
Oh no.
the camera broke. Oh shit!
No.
I'm gonna have to be
Raptor,
holding
do you
it
mean
now.
for pitch?
Yeah.
It was Ty Blake who came up with Blake's actual final design, wasn't it?
No,
Shit.
with Pitch, that was my friend's. Goes by Parts. She
I
hasn't
gave
been active in the server
no.
for years.
She was only really active right at the very beginning when we designed pitch. I basically gave a bit of a briefing. It wasn't that much. Like we wanted the long black coat, but we wanted it to be
Oh, by the way,
we
by the way,
wanted to have the
there's headphones.
diagonal
There's
fastening.
Lucas headphones.
Oh, Luca has headphones.
A lot of them. All of them.
It cost me a lot, and also now I gotta replace my camera. Like, fucking broke.
Oh god.
Oh wait.
Let's see if.
All right.
Anyway,
keep
sorry.
Keep
Dren-
going
So-
while I fix this.
Yeah, we wanted them to have the dark coat with the sort of asymmetrical fastening. There's a reason for that asymmetrical fastening. What you'll very quickly find if you actually look into the production of pitch is that the curtains are never just blue. There's always symbolism in pretty much every decision we make, even if it is dumb. We wanted his hands and feet to be covered because the whole robotics bit was a very early element. The color was black because it was Team Pitch. Initially, he was actually based off Black Peter from Danish Christmas mythology, but he lost that very early on.
Yeah.
We knew we wanted to have a large sword. We didn't settle on the design for quite a while. I designed his sword.
Yeah.
I like how Luke, while I was saying this, Luca's camera is just flailing.
I think initially, with Pitch's design, he was initially meant to have a connection with Crow. Like that comes back to how early on Pitch was much more heavily intertwined with Ruby's story. So it was so a lot of his designs were based off Crow, down to his combat move. Like one of the earliest ideas for the trailer that we ever had, one of the earliest combat moves was the finisher, where he lands feet first on his sword like Crow does in Volume 4. Like I've seen a reaction video where someone just points out that it's pretty much exactly like Crow, and yeah, that was literally the inspiration.
Okay, I'm going to send you the image that inspired the colors of Pitch's prosthetics. I want you to see if you can put it into stream somehow. I don't know how to do that.
Forget it. I'm gonna just hold it.
Cool. Voice text. Hang on, I'll just
voice text.
switch to voice text. Oh shit! I think I just. Yeah, there we go.
So
Damn, this is the worst day to have a broken camera.
that's
Midstream.
it's
Fucking
just
hell,
rolling
Luca.
down there. So yeah, that car was the inspiration for the color scheme of both Pitch himself and then later his prosthetics. We knew he wanted his main color to be black, but we were trying to decide on a secondary color that wasn't just purple.
Also,
And so I was looking around and I eventually decided on copper, although it doesn't really come across so much. It looks more like just orange nowadays.
but yeah, and it's yeah. Another thing, we really wanted Pitch's design to be black and white, for multiple reasons. Some is that the curtains are never blue. Others being that the aesthetic of the trailer was always meant to be very harsh black and white, and then with like splashes of color thrown into it.
Hello,
Uh,
Archive.
oh, General Kenobi, you are a bold one. Yeah. By the way,
What's poppin',
if anyone
brother?
ever
We
says
love
hello
your
there,
reaction video.
oh,
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 yes, that's
you
you.
are the one
Thank you
who-
very much.
hi. Oh, also, I
Can't
love your
believe
reaction
you guys
video.
don't know the guy. Huh. Can't
Yeah.
believe it. I memorized everybody who reacted to our videos, which is just a whopping number of 2.
Yeah. Oh, hey, yeah. Thanks so much for reacting to our video. It was so beautiful to watch. Just But yeah, we were actually just talking about Pidge and how him landing on the sword at the end. You mentioned that it kind of looked like Crow. That was actually intentional because originally Pidge was supposed to have a connection to Crow. That was actually also partially the inspiration for his weapon. Like he was supposed to have a weapon inspired of Crow. We did change that. They now have nothing to do with each other as Pidge became more its own thing with its own story. But yeah, that was the original idea.
Should I tell them what the initial sort of concept pitch was? It's no longer anything to do with that, but
Sure, go for it.
yeah. So initially, the whole thing that started pitch was I was getting confused as to why none of the teams from Haven sort of went, "Hey, where's this team with Cinder on?" Because it doesn't have an official name. Come from? We didn't see them at Haven. Where? Why? Why are they here? And so I came up with the idea that because Cinder doesn't really appear over in Vale outside like short appearances until all the people are coming over for the Vital Festival, I had the idea that she and the rest of her team actually attended Haven for the first half of the year. And so initially, Pitch was supposed to be going over, well, following its own OC team, explaining what was happening over there and trying to shore up a couple of the plot holes in early Ruby. But then it bloated and expanded, and I world built, and
A lot.
it became its own thing, and then we slowly phased out the actual Ruby characters because part of them to overshadow ours.
You
Not the
cut
right
out a
wording.
bit. Can you start that sentence again?
We partially cut out so that we would could focus more on our characters instead of on the Ruby characters, but partially also because we are constantly terrified that something that Ruby puts out will break our plans.
That has happened several times.
It's happened a couple of times. We had a character whose name had to change because they appeared in actual Ruby.
Thanks,
We
Saffron.
much prefer their changed name, but yeah, we originally had a character called Saffron, and then Saffron.
Then she became Dawn with.
Well, Pitch is supposed to be as much as possible in an EU rather than an AU Raptor. It does kind of go into its own AU elements at times, purely because it's quite difficult to match to a world that is constantly releasing new stuff itself.
Yeah. There are some things that are a little bit of a gray area in that there are some plot and world elements are things that could have happened in base Ruby. It's just you know, they could have happened. It's just it would be weird that people didn't mention them or that they didn't come up in canon if they did happen, but like they could have.
Yeah. We are thankful actually that Ruby did so little to develop Mistral.
Yeah, it just made it the playground for us.
And
And
that's
I
how
think
Pitch was
they've
written.
probably written more lore for Mistral than they did.
I mean, then Roman Holiday happened and
Yes, then Roman
moved
Holiday.
everything.
Oh God, I made a few changes, but I can't change everything to match that in.
Yeah, we well we did another few things where like a lot of it doesn't explicitly contradict pitch lore, but again, it's things that would have come up if someone was was telling a story that took place in Mistral, probably. So it's but yeah, so we are going a little bit more AUE, but but it's in hindsight it's not that bad, but reading that book was nerve-wracking.
I haven't read the books yet. I keep not actually buying them. Yeah, the city of Mistral does look very small.
You want to say the postcard
I'm
thing?
going to say how we managed to get away with
The postcard thing.
making it larger. Yeah, the postcard thing. You know how when we initially see Mistral, we see all those buildings on the cliff up to Haven Academy on the top. We had the idea that that is the bit of Mistral they always show to the tourists when they're arriving, and they put on all the postcards and stuff. The idea is that Mistral is actually built on what's called a crag and tail mountain, or a crag and tail formation, or whatever the final term is, which is effectively, when a glacier came through, it eroded all of the soft stone, and then there was one big block of hard stone, which it didn't erode. And then as the glacier went past that, it left a sort of slowly sloping teardrop shape. And so Haven's Academy is on the top. You always see the side of at the front of this teardrop, and then the rest of the city is sweeping down the backside, and you don't really see it. And we've made Mistral massive by doing that. It's huge, same size as Vale, effectively. And if you look at Vale on the map that Torchwick shows in volume, is it the end of volume 1? I think it's the end of volume 1. Vale is immense on the world map. It's immense.
Yeah.
Ridiculous. It's like halfway from the sea to the center of Sanus. Anyway, I see Luca has become Stickman again.
Do you guys wanna do the thing where we go through the Steel trailer and make comments on it as we go through?
We can, yes.
I fixed my camera.
Okay. There we go. Is this showing
get
up?
our portrait.
Awesome. Yeah, you did.
sideways
Awesome.
right now.
Beautiful.
It works.
Right. We ready to start?
All right, let's do it. Me and my portrait camera, I'm ready.
This was one of the first things that Luca did for us. The logo. I remember brainstorming it.
Do you want to stream the video onto what they can see?
They should already be able to see it.
No, well, they cut, or at least it's not showing up on Discord for them, and the stream hasn't got far enough along for me to see it.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that it's like if it worked to show the chromatic aberration thing, it's going to show the stream, like the video. I switched the cameras. Like right now, they're not seeing us; they're seeing the stream.
Okay, the only problem is that we're going to be seeing it a little bit behind you in that case, but never mind.
Fuck. Right, I'll stream. Okay, I'll know what I'll do. Hang on.
Yeah, stream it through Discord.
I'll stream it through Discord.
Share it through Discord, and then we'll see. Yeah.
Okay.
Did someone else just join?
No, that's
that
the
was
stream.
you going into stream.
That's a stream. Wait, why is this showing up that I'm? Okay, no, never mind. Right. So everyone ready?
Yeah, I'm good to go.
By the way, the quote. I'm surprised that no one commented on the quote. It's like, it seems like a weird quote given the film. Given the story of the trailer. Just, I don't know. I figured people would have opinions.
Aren't blue.
Yeah, the curtains are never blue. This is another thing. Like, again, if you are looking for symbolism or subtext or anything, then you think, should I be thinking that, think that much into it? Should I be putting that, no, they probably just did it because they thought it looked cool. No. Never. There's so much symbolism and subtext in everything. There's like so much subtext in the story of this trailer. Just analyze away. I really want to see what people's opinions on things are, including like how you think that the trailer quote actually fits into the trailer. And whether or not you agree with it, because a lot of people don't agree with it. Which is why I find it interesting.
Right. Let it play.
Yeah. First,
so pause it there for a moment, Guy. We've only just got onto it. I've seen a couple of people talk about the moon here. I threw that together as a test for what we could do, and then Guy ended up liking it enough that we went for it. That was the test moon. Those aren't actually particles. That's a texture that I've animated to move out.
The moon is 2D, by the way. It's just a 2D.
The moon is 2D. It's just a flat plane. It's not actually modeled as a sphere. It's just
Same with the
flat plane
clouds.
with bits cut out.
The clouds are also. It's just also just a flat plane. It's
Is
a
it? Or I
material.
thought it was that. Didn't you make a dome and put the texture on it?
Yeah.
Have the dome move.
Well, but the
around?
dome is flat as well. Like it's still just the cloud is still just the 2D image on the
Yeah,
dome,
the clouds aren't modeled. The clouds are just the texture.
procedurally generated. Yeah, with the first thing, like the first shot, by the way, from the very beginning, we wanted it to immediately blow people away because the internet has ADHD. The average attention span of someone watching a video is about 3 seconds, and that includes me.
Oh, there
so
is symbolism in the moon as well.
there is symbolism in the moon, yes, and and the phases of the moon shown throughout the trailer. But yeah, so I really wanted.
Darkai's reaction to the first shot. I mean, the moon shot really did impress a lot of people.
It did, yeah, people really liked it. And yeah, the reaction was immediately like, I wanted it to be, especially with the black screen before it for a few seconds, and then, boom, beautiful imagery. I really wanted it to wow people, to immediately make them want to keep watching.
The moon we had before this one was just a drawn one, and while it looked really cool, it didn't glow or anything into the set, and we wanted to change that.
Yeah, and then of course the fire, because like the blue and orange contrast is like the oldest color trick in the book. It's honestly massively overused. I have a flatmate that absolutely hates it. Just blue-orange contrast, it just hates it. But I
it
want
By
looked
the way,
good, it
Geek
looked good.
spent I think several months getting the fire right.
No, I just worked it on and off when I actually set myself down and. Well, no, I failed a couple times. Yeah, the fire looked really bad for first few times, and honestly, it looks kind of bad in the other instances in the trailer when it shows up. It's at its best here, but yeah, this was always the idea again, just like 5 years ago now of moon, then we can move down to fire and burning house like that.
Yeah, we
that
still
was-
have the original storyboards from like 4 years ago or
do.
something like that.
Oh, we should release them at some point.
This is the
We
only
should.
bit that has storyboards.
Yeah, we had a storyboard artist briefly, but yeah, he didn't do much before. Like it turns out that the storyboard, like the 2D storyboards, didn't really work for us. We work a lot better in 3D, so I just started doing the storyboards in 3D. But yeah,
Saved my life. I hate storyboards.
I am continuously embarrassed about young pictures thrown together in like 2 days.
same
But
with.
from the original pictures model.
I'm embarrassed with the animation. This was one of the earliest animations that I actually did for the trailer, and it's so the face animation. It's so awkward. Like later animations, the faces are much more expressive and
If I remember correctly, young pictures face rig is a bit awkward anyway, though.
a bit, but that's still. I mean, it's the same rig as Canaria, and I managed to give her much more interesting.
Yeah.
God. This scene, I remade the scene.
Canary was literally developed from young pictures rig, which was developed from young pictures model, which was developed from pictures model.
This scene went through so many iterations, you guys. Like just this one, zooming out, getting the shot. We went through so many different iterations.
That aura effect took me about a week of solid work. And is actually developed from a water shader.
Yes, yeah. The aura effects were a pretty big deal for us. It's like one thing
The biggest bit was making it focus on certain locations. You'll see that later.
yeah. And that was
setup.
that was like a big thing because like one thing we don't like about Ruby is about how it handles aura, and that it's often unclear whether a character's aura is on or off, or oftentimes like there are moments where characters they get hit, but then like or no, they almost get hit, and it's like shot like if the hit would have killed them, but we know that it wouldn't have because they have aura, and it's like they're trying to make us forget it. And sometimes it's kind of unclear when someone's aura breaks because it's just kind of a little bit in the background. But like aura is a big deal. Like it decides whether or not, like it decides how dangerous a fight is, right? If you have aura, you're good for now. If you lose it, you're almost fucked. So we really wanted to draw a lot of attention to it. Like we never see characters activating their aura in the main show. So again, we never know how much in danger they're in. I mean, we assume that they have aura in a fight, but there's like a few instances. If there's a surprise attack, like we know when Adam suddenly kills Sienna Khan. I guess we can imagine that he did that before she had a chance to raise her aura, but that feels kind of weird that in that tense situation that she wouldn't have had it up. It's like just so there's a lot of moments where things are a little bit muddy, and we don't want that to be the case with Pitch. Like this is one thing that we've told ourselves: we'll always show characters activating their aura. so people know exactly when their shield is up. So when they become when they're being protected, and then we'll also draw attention to when their
Yeah,
aura breaks.
right.
Luca,
Ruby
you got.
always just assumes that. What's up?
Sorry. You were saying gonna say something. You were gonna say something.
Ruby always like tends to for the main characters, they just assume that their aura's on 24/7. That's why they don't really surprise attacks don't necessarily work on them. Like it'll work, like they'll get attacked, but they're usually unscathed or undamaged because of it, which kind of it's a lot of inconsistency. So I really hope in the show we manage to do that.
Mm. We
Like we managed to show it.
we're trying to make like consistent aura rules and actually show them, you know, make them clear to the audience. Uh, with a lot of the world
Yeah.
building, it's just we're taking bits and pieces. We're basically trying to make sense of Ruby's world building, and we're trying to make it more consistent for our show.
Right, right.
And yeah, Luca, anything else you want to comment on this first minute?
There's like that the initial voice, there was supposed to be no voice acting here. Oh, by the way, Archive, yeah, thank you, I appreciate that.
Oh.
Seven
People
is
either
Luca.
call me
They're the same person.
Yep, same person.
Hang
I
on,
just
let
get
me
called
read the chat
Luca
real
because
quick.
of my Discord name. The origin of that Discord name is my name is Lucas. Like my name is also Lucas. There's Lucas in my actual name, but I misspelled it, so I look like a moron. Now I'm called Luca. Anyway, going back to the trailer, there was supposed to initially be no voice acting here. No one's coming in and telling Pitch what to do. Even the robots had no lines. But I just told them, I just showed them a little draft. What if we add voices here? And they really liked it. So we rushed out the fact that there was supposed to be voices. Actually, in the final preview, I almost forgot to add the actual voice lines in until they reminded me, hey, isn't there supposed to be lines here?
Because we were so used to the version without voices. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
we showed this to a few friends of ours, and they were very confused as to what the story was, like what was actually going on, like why are the robots shooting at buildings, and why do they look janky, and why is Pitch fighting them? Like we, yeah, it wasn't very clear at all, and so we had to try and add just a little bit of exposition at the start. Um,
Just a little bit.
Yeah.
Drent, you want to tell them about the pilot?
The pilot in this, even though he doesn't appear and he's never slated to appear,
Actually, we kind of
he has
changed it.
both.
He's gonna
Well,
appear
he'll
once.
probably reoccur later, but he both has a name and a backstory. Cockney Boar. He's in the Elysian
All
military.
that.
He's on track to become a strategist. Born to a not quite highest class family, but up there. But not particularly actually into the fighting bit of being in the military.
So
Couple of
basically,
elements.
That
It's all
happened
written down
because I
somewhere.
made a joke. I just told Dren like, hey, it would be funny if the pilot I voiced had a whole backstory, and he was like, "Fuck you, watch me."
And then 5 minutes later, I said something in the chat.
everything here has a backstory. Like this model of Elysian Knights. Actually, let's wait until we see the.
We have a lore document on the Elysian Knights.
Yeah. Right.
So pause it there.
Yeah. Hang on.
So you see how you can't. You see how on the
Go
left
back a bit.
shoulder pad
There we go.
there's numbers. That says AK-170. These aren't supposed to be the Elysian Knight 130s that we see in early Ruby, or the 200s that we see by Volume 3. These are supposed to be an intermediary point, which were the final stage they did with this design before they swapped to the one that the 200s have, where they just carry a rifle around. And they have a bunch of lore behind them. They were full of problems because they put too complicated of a computer in them, and so they were constantly running out of power. There were mistakes made in their weapon systems, so swapping between the weapons was really difficult. And then, of course, there's what's going on right now,
Yeah.
which isn't technically their fault.
Yeah, they went haywire. Like this is, by the way, people were confused by why they were just randomly shooting at buildings. Part of that is because I this was like a complicated shot to do, and I wanted like this to both look aesthetically pleasing and like to guide the eye of the camera, so we like basically so it would be nice to look at. And part of that is because their AI is really rudimentary. Like this is often why they're a little bit janky in how they fight. I mean, yeah, I am making excuses for my shady animation skills. But no, it was literally meant to be like they don't have the fluid motions that the knights do in Ruby Purple, like, or in the Black trailer. It's like they weren't meant to be deployed yet. They were still just meant to have like a very, very simple AI.
They were still prototypes.
Yeah.
This is actually. Can I say what this event is supposed to be, Geek? Because I don't think we ever address it anywhere else in the script.
I don't think we will. I think we cut it out. So yeah, but it's canonically this is still a thing.
This is sort of canonically for Pitch, or at least was supposed to be the Paladin incident that we are told about in Ruby. I can't remember what the context of the Paladin incident was.
Volume 7, where he's like, oh, impossible, Watts can't be alive. He died in a Paladin incident years ago.
Yeah, that's what this is supposed to be. Kind of.
So he hacked. Watts
yeah.
hacked all the drones to go haywire. And by the way, this whole trailer, this was all outlined before Volume 7 came out. But once they said Paladin incident, we're like, this is perfect. This fits perfect. Let's make this canon for us. And like again, this will never actually affect anything, but it is canon to us.
The conflicts of Ruby with Watts and all of that no longer really have much of a bearing on Pitch. It's just matching it into the lore.
They used to have quite a big one.
Used to have quite a lot. But
sorry.
Yeah, they used to have a very big impact further down the line, which we won't address because it's spoilers.
Yeah. But wait, this is... I actually kind of hate this shot, because this is the jankiest shot in the whole thing, or at least one of them. Like, the bullets, for some reason, like, the bullet effects really fucked up quite a lot. And that, like, they just fly up. If you look at them, they fly up. I don't know why. I tried so much to fix them, and they just wouldn't work. Also, that made it difficult to...
We were, like, troubleshooting it.
Yeah.
Like, for, like, a whole day. Like, 2 days, actually, we've been just... This was the only thing we focused on. Why is it flying upwards?
And then, like,
eventually we just said, fuck it.
Yeah, I didn't add sparks to buildings either, because this was one of the things, like, this would have added so much additional work. So I went, yeah, this shot is going to be janky. I know.
It didn't help that the knights kind of melted Guy's computer a bit. The person who made the knights made really good models, but the problem was they were far too high poly. So I went in, stripped them down, removed as many vertices as I thought I could, and actually I completely re-rigged them because the rig was, while probably pretty good, I couldn't make heads or tails of, and I'd made enough changes that I had to edit it anyway. And yeah. So there were so many knights in this trailer that Guy's computer couldn't handle them, because whenever a knight gets cut in half, which you'll see later, it actually becomes 2 knight models with so 2 half knight models, both with a full rig, because that was the only way we could think of to get it working.
Luca, you were going to say something?
Was this the part like where you logged into my computer to render it?
No, that was the original fight. Like the one that we released a week later, the one that wasn't actually in the final thing.
Yeah, the prototype fight.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah, we used to use Luca's PC as a render farm halfway across the world.
Yeah.
Anyway.
They like team viewer over here, and then there was this one time Guy had to turn off my computer because I was too sleepy to focus on anything.
Go back a few frames. Go back. One thing. Up. Stop. When he is sort of spread out before it swaps, before the camera swaps.
Like
so
this?
One thing I really do not like about his sword's model, which is a recurring issue, and I don't know how to solve it, or at least I didn't at the time, is that shading error on the blade.
Oh yeah.
It just keeps happening, and I didn't know how to stop it. So we eventually just went with it. But no one seemed to comment on it until I pointed it out. So, how long did animation take? Guy, you're better equipped to handle that.
Oh boy, that is one hell of a question.
You reanimated the first fight fairly quickly, but
yeah. So keep in mind, a lot of this was just me learning to animate alongside just making the trailer. Also, in between doing a lot of other stuff. Obviously, then commissioning fights, and then having the people just drop out eventually, and having to find someone else, or then do the fight ourselves. I was working on and off for, again, I think the animation, like from when I actually started learning to animate, I think the animation took about 2 years. But it was very on and off. Like usually when I decide, okay, I'm going to be animating this scene now, I'd hunker down and get it done in 2-3 weeks. I think like the first fight when I reanimated it, the first fight was actually the last thing to be animated. and I did that in 2 weeks, I think. I did the second fight in 2 weeks. It would always be like I think I'd usually take 2 to 3 weeks to do a single scene, but I wouldn't always be animating. I think in the like last summer, oh god, almost a year ago, I just went like I hunkered down and okay, I'm doing the rest of the animation for the entire thing. And then over the winter holidays, I just did the lighting and shading and rendering for everything and VFX. So yeah, it just I'm sorry, it's not a very satisfying answer. It's hard to put a finger on it because I wasn't like working all the time on this.
Yeah.
And then yeah, this shot. Oh boy, how
So you
I
see
love
how the
this
mood is
shot.
different.
So there are 3 layers of symbolism in this shot, by the way.
It's not Jesus.
It's there's like
I
again
wish it was.
just the moon shot like with the moon itself and Pitch's pose and everything. There's just so much symbolism here. Um, Actually, I love the little chunks behind the moon because that was originally an error. So when we were going to release
No, it
the
wasn't.
Rebuild's lyric video, Luca was meant to make an image, just have the image of the moon shattered and an image of the moon whole, like completed, which is what it was meant to look like in the in the present day storyline. Like have the basically a full moon, like in the red trailer, where the broken, like shattered part is like hidden. It's behind the moon. But I think he edited the original moon, and I think he forgot a couple chunks of it on the left.
Okay, yeah, you mean that.
But
Yeah, I forgot to erase the layers.
yeah, but and then we realized that actually works really well because like the moon isn't the broken part isn't entirely hidden. Like you can still see bits and pieces. It just makes it feel more like the ruby moon, right? Instead of just suddenly it's completely around. And again, great for symbolism, just amazing for symbolism. So I decided to keep it.
The accidents make great symbolism.
Yeah. Also, God, I
we
love
don't
this.
make mistakes, we make happy little accidents.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, a lot of.
And then we make really annoying accidents.
Also, you can see the chromatic aberration here.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's
I
all
do
my
not
fault.
like Pitch's hair. It looks crap.
Ugh.
I've got much better at modeling hair since then.
Also, I didn't.
It works.
The hair was rigged as well. I could have animated it, but that
It
would
was,
have
yes.
been a lot more work, so I didn't. So yeah, and then the fight.
And there we go. That's the main transformation that the big sword gets. It can lengthen and shorten, and it does that between individual moves throughout the entire trailer, but it's rather difficult to see.
I didn't do a very good job of actually making it put it front and center. So yeah. Also, this shot is I
Also,
love this
yeah,
shot. This is
Go back like
Oh,
2
yeah.
frames.
So how many frames?
There. It's really difficult to see because it's not in focus, but there are actually patterns in the purple bits on the blade.
Oh yeah. I'm sorry. The patterns were
No,
like
don't worry
casualty
about
of the shading.
I spent a little while getting those to work right, and they actually tile along the extending blade, and it doesn't matter, we'll see them
Okay,
at some
I'm
point.
feeling bad now.
No, don't. It looks cool.
But yeah, it's the thing is like in order for the glow like to be really strong, it just kind of obscured the patterns.
Yep.
But yeah.
Pitch uses a
That's
lot
also
of
another one
gravity
of my
buff.
faults too.
Hmm?
I was in charge of the guy. I was in charge of like doing the color grading. I am. Although Gee's render was already really bright, I even amplified the colors even more, so it blocks even more of the screen.
I think the patterns were already gone in the render.
I do like how I decided to make the shaders for the eyes means that they just glow in the dark.
Yes. Oh, the backlighting is amazing. Like honestly, you'll notice that 90% of this trailer is backlit. Like the characters are their faces are in shadow because it just looks cool. The big inspiration.
And
Cool.
we haven't got the maps fixed yet.
Yeah. But a big inspiration for that is Zack Snyder's cinematography. Hot take. I think Zack Snyder is a visual genius. I love how his movies look. So I took a lot of inspiration from him for this, for the Seal trailer. Boom. Oh, I love that shot. Oh yeah, the night splitting in two. Let's quickly go here. So this is
at
one
that
model.
point-
This is one frame, and now it's two different models. We just swapped out the model between frames.
Yeah, those two models were hiding underneath the map, I think, until Guy needed them, and then they teleported in. Which
Yes.
means for that one night, there were 3 full models and 3 full rigs.
Yeah. This knight is now like in the next frame. This model is now under the floor.
We sort of swapped out. We use models for multiple things at different points if they weren't hidden. Like these 2 halves may later become a different set of 2 halves. I've just realized my microphone's been away from my mouth this entire time, so I probably sounded like ass.
For a bit, you sounded quiet. Yeah.
I mean, these two probably wish I was quiet sometimes.
Yeah, shut up, Dren.
Most of the time, I lose connection, so I miss half of what you said.
Yeah, that happens quite a bit.
Anyway, sorry, Dren. Did you want to say something else about this before we move on?
No, I was just saying that I think we used the parts of this model in when other models were cut up.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Still not happy with them.
I do love how it just hits a knight with another knight. I love that bit.
Let's actually do
Wait.
the impact.
Can I actually spoil the thing? Like,
Which?
can I spoil the thing we're about to upload later?
No. Let's keep it
No,
vague.
don't spoil anything from
Don't
that.
spoil the
Let's
thing.
keep
Yeah,
let's keep people in suspense for that.
there's gonna be an April Fool's video today.
Damn.
But yeah.
Well, damn it. He already said it.
You weren't
Anyway.
supposed to say it was an April Fool's video, Gay.
Yeah, it's well, we don't know. They don't know. They don't know what it is though, right?
Although it's an Gay.
Nah.
We're not trying to trick anyone. It's gonna be very obvious from like the first second.
Never mind.
I've seen the thumbnail. Yeah, so anyway, the impact frame is like, that was a fun one. So basically, I went through the scene, replaced the shaders, went through a bunch of materials, and did and just added like a few frames like this. Why did Pitch's head disappear?
Yeah, why did his head disappear? I was just thinking
don't
that.
know that actually. That shouldn't have happened. I'd have to go into the file. But yeah, so basically a bunch of these things, and it looks past like
That's the same two halves that we used just before when the other night got cut in half.
yeah. The electricity are like I use like an add-on that creates vines, and then did some stuff with them. So these are vines. And right.
And
I
there
voice
is
acted that
Canaria.
character too.
You voice acted everyone. Oh, and then we
Yeah.
get to Canaria's introduction, which she was like
Goddamn sausage fingers.
she was a big
Yeah.
thing in this trailer. Like one thing that we really wanted to do in this trailer is focus a lot more on this story. Actually, this might be a good moment to talk about what we wanted and the ways in which we wanted this trailer to stand out. Because obviously we've seen all the other Ruby OC trailers and they are just incredible, just so good. In many ways way better than anything we could do. So we just basically looked at our skill sets of the things that we knew about and was like, okay, what are we actually good at? Like, what is something special that we can bring to the table? And also, what we looked at the other trailers and we're like, what's something that they don't do? Like, what's something that we might be able to improve on? And one thing, like the two main things that we spotted is visuals. Like the first one is like they're not. So obviously they have beautiful character models and beautiful shading, but there's not that much art direction going on. Like in the silver trailers, most of them look kind of gray. Like the backgrounds, the backdrops, they look kind of gray. Like there's not much of a focus. Like the focus is on the fight choreography and not on just making beautiful shots, like with using beautiful colors. Dark has since actually gotten really good at that and arguably outdone us. Honestly, Dark has outdone us in most ways. But yeah, so we
Fantastic, actually.
but we decided to go hard on that, just make visuals as beautiful as possible. And the second one was the story. When we wanted to focus a lot more on the story, because a lot of it is because I'm about to go on a bit of a tangent here. One thing that I always had a problem with in the original Ruby trailers, as amazing as they are, and as much as I love them, and something that the OC trailers, most of the OC trailers got as well, they always have this melancholic atmosphere at the start. It just feels vaguely sad, but there's not that much of a story to it. Like it's just, girl looks at the moon being sad. Now time for an action scene. And again, it's nothing wrong with it, not at all. Like I mean, that was what they were going for, and that's what Monty was going for. Heck, she didn't even know who was in that grave that Ruby was standing in front of at the start. Jeff Williams was the one who had the idea of what if it's her mom, and Monty was like, yeah, sure, yeah, cool, it can be her mom. But
Dead mom.
But yeah. But we're the type of people who want everything to have a story, and so we decided to make this not just a trailer that showcases a character's abilities and does not just add some nice melancholic atmosphere. Is give
Before you play from
a
this
point to
frame,
it.
I want to say something, but I'll wait
Cool.
till you finish.
Cool. But yeah, it's just we wanted there to be a point to the story, and to, for the melancholic atmosphere to just kind of lead into the fight and to interact more with the trailer. And so this is why, like, at the start, it's pretty much a standard Ruby OC trailer, right? Guy shows up, kills a bunch of enemies, and this is the moment that everything changes, where suddenly it's not just I have to kill the enemies, it's I have to protect someone. And that was kind of, in a way, almost a subversion, like a deliberate subversion of Ruby fan trailers. Like, you think you know where this is going, and then something unexpected happens. We subverted your expectations.
Haha.
Oh, shoot. Someone thought we were coming later. Don't worry, you haven't missed much of the actual going over the trailer yet. We've done the first fight, and that's it.
what I said. I was cooking something, and then out of nowhere, they were like, "We start in 10 minutes."
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah. So,
But
yeah.
Actually, before we move on to anything, Archive mentioned, wait, you voice Canaria? Basically, every single voice you've heard in the channel so far,
Every
in
single
terms of voice
sound
acting,
effect.
that was me. Sound effect too. I'm gonna tell them about
Yeah, we'll get
my
there.
sub butt cheeks later.
We will get
Before
We'll get there.
Before we play, I'm saying this because you can see the lamp there. Someone else made the actual stage for this. I don't remember who it was off the top of my head.
See him.
But just like with the Knights, I had to go in and simplify it a bit, remove a lot of modifiers and a lot of topology and things like that. And I made a low poly version for Geek to actually animate him. But I also then made all of the textures and the shaders. Now, they were all procedural. There's no actual image being fed in. It's a bunch of computer mumbo jumbo in nodes, which I barely understand anymore. But that's how you get on that lamppost. You've got the rusted spots. But I really dislike how on those lampposts, because I didn't know how to get sharp edges in a subdivision modifier yet, and I forgot to shade them smooth, you can see the individual faces. It's really irritating.
Yeah.
No one's
Luckily,
noticing it.
it is on the side of the screen. Honestly, guys, there are so many animation errors in this trailer. Like, some of them are obvious, but there are so many continuity errors and mistakes.
Good to have you here, Clara, though.
Who?
Clara
Oh, yeah.
in the...
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, Clara. Oh, you just woke up. Yeah, sorry. There was quite a bit of confusion around the time of this. So, yeah, sorry. But yeah, where were we? Right. So we were just basically going, like, if you guys want to search for all the little animation errors and continuity errors and things where the model breaks and all of that,
We
like,
can
feel
see one
free.
right
You'll
now.
find a
Her
lot.
waist is broken.
You'll find who? Sorry.
Her
Oh,
waist
wait.
is broken at the
Oh
moment.
God, yeah. There's quite a little bit of clipping there.
Oh, Jesus.
She
Dude, I
is
never saw
dead.
that.
Children models were each made in an evening. Of course they're going to mess up.
Her,
I think it was more
She
than an evening. I
can't
think it was
poop no more.
2 evenings.
her spine is just snapped in half.
She was
Actually,
not
that would be
supposed
a
to bend
fun
that
video
much.
idea.
What?
That would be a fun video idea. Every trailer, we just end up like with another video of just us pointing out the mistakes.
You want to do a CinemaSins for our own trailers?
Exactly. Completely
Yeah.
destroy everyone's vision of our trailers.
Oh, but it's no.
You thought he was holding the sword? Psych!
That's not fun. No, we'll let people, like, I mean, obviously we're finding out some of the mistakes, but we still want some people to go into it and find some of the mistakes themselves.
For example, the spine. I've never seen that before.
I honestly I'd
Neither
forgotten
have I
about
until I got to this.
this was the reference for this was Black Widow from Iron Man 2 after like a land doing like a superhero pose. We use like a lot of really obscure references.
There's Canaria.
Also, I got a friend of mine to act out all of this scene, like both sides of this scene, so we can so I'd have reference footage.
I'm surprised people are liking the facial animation so much, given how basic the character's face rigs are.
But they're
He did an
expressive.
amazing job with them, but
Thank you.
I just keep thinking that he's rather restricted in what he could actually do.
Yeah. But they're very simple, but they're very effective, they're very expressive. You know, you get so you. Yeah. Also, with this moment, I was hoping to give viewers just a really short heart attack. Just have like their lives flashing before their eyes. Like, is this grimdark? Is this just about a kid that just gets cut down in front of him? I wanted to have this one short moment of, oh God, is she gonna immediately die? And judging by the reaction video, I think that is what happened. Like, I remember Archive, when just Knight shows up, he just very briefly just got really tense. So I was very happy when I saw that, because that means it worked. Also, I really like the framing. There's some of my favorite cinematography in the trailer.
Part of it is also my impact sound effects.
Oh, I love
Sure.
that.
During this trailer, Guy developed an addiction to Dutch angles.
I did. The camera
Very.
is almost never even.
Always, never even.
I am
To be fair, that looks
almost
badass
always.
as hell.
Almost always never even. Yeah.
That's just adding another word to it. That doesn't make it better.
Okay, English is my third language. Okay, cut me some
Yes,
slack.
I'm aware. I know. It's just funny.
So yeah, like,
Yeah, for anyone who's joined and is confused, there are only 3 people here. Guy just has a broken system and needs 2 Discord accounts to actually work.
my system isn't the only thing that's broken. Look at his wrist.
I've said this every single time you held a sword like that. I literally have pointed it out, I think about 10 times since you started animating.
I know.
That you need to put wrists at an angle when you're grabbing a sword like
I know,
that.
but again, it was literally impossible for them to grab a sword like this without him breaking it, or without doing like really much more convoluted different grip, which I had to cut corners. Oh no, this bit.
There we go. Now,
I love this.
Boom!
we've got a few
love
things
this.
to say here.
Yeah.
I'll
So-
start off.
Let's go frame
One-
by frame because I love this. So first we have actually no, sorry, you start off.
So, we have had in Ruby swords that become guns. We've had, I think, guns that become swords. We've had swords
It's
that
also
are
a gun.
drawn out of guns. We had not yet, as far as I'm aware, had a gun that was drawn out of a sword. And
Yeah.
so I wanted to do that for Pitch. That was one of the things that came to it.
Also, a sword that's get drawn out of another sword. That was actually the early thing.
Sword.
That was like Pitch's sword was always meant to be a sword.
It wasn't supposed to have the light blade, though. That was
Yeah.
something we added later when I couldn't work out how to transform an actual blade.
Yeah. But yeah, so
I've
basically,
got some like, old versions that are just really weird.
so there are 2 layers of VFX in this transformation. One was like the impact frames. So again, I went into white frame, then I went into the scene and just changed the shaders around, removed all the backgrounds, just did a bunch of stuff very quickly, and then in post, Luca went over it
attacked it.
and just added so much chromatic aberration, just very briefly, and
I
that
love it.
just gives us a punch. And then there's the sound effect.
Oh, God damn
It's
it, go back
time.
a few frames. Go back a few frames.
What?
Go back a few frames. There we go.
Where?
Back. I'll tell you when to put. Now. His fucking collar.
Oh god, yeah, his collar.
One of my favorite.
This is what happens when you make the trailer with a model that's more than 3 years old.
Ugh. Look at
I
me.
blurred it out, so hopefully no one really pays attention to it.
People's focus should be on the eyes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
hopefully.
Yeah. But yeah, so then the sound effects just.
That it do, Dragon. That it do.
Okay, Luca, do you want to tell everyone how you made the sound effect for the hard light blade activation?
Notice any of the mistakes. All right, it's time to tell the sound effect. So, whatever I cut out, you guys can continue for me. So, how did I make this sound effect? What's my ideology? So, I essentially made the sound effect using Serum, and then I took some free lightsaber sound effects, like completely free, by the way. And then I EQ'd them to the point where it sounds very punchy and it has like a great, cool activation sound. And now here's the good part. I could have used a sub bass for that woo sound effect, that buzz, that low end. But instead, I used a compressor on top of distortion, and I boosted all the low frequencies of my flatulence.
Out.
AKA, okay, to be brief, I used my fart, my butt cheeks,
Yeah.
my
Lucas
Bulicus
sound
maximus.
effects are ass.
Okay.
Also,
I love this. Like, I do love, like, it just shows how good of a sound designer he is.
Now, the biggest question. Here's the biggest question. Why did you do that? I found it funny. That was it.
It's like, he is so good that he can make, like, an amazing sound effect out of literal ass.
Do you guys want to hear the raw sound?
No!
I think I'll save that for later.
No.
Yeah.
That's like
But
that's like the Patreon exclusive. We don't have a
got
Patreon
pretty
yet.
good at doing parenting of weapons. We have a bunch of workarounds and additional things, and we've done a lot of thinking about that. We were more talking about the position we stuck the hand in,
Yeah.
where it was breaking his wrist instead.
Oh.
Don't believe it or not, we have spent months trying to work out how best to do having weapons in different things. We had multiple copies of each weapon. We were trying to use inbuilt blender constraints to do it using child of. We found a what's his name? Module, what's the thing called in Blender?
Hmm.
Whatever it's
Don't-
called dynamic parenting, which basically allows you to do it without it bouncing around the map.
Mm.
But yeah, we've sorted that, although yes, it took us ages.
Also, there was just someone saying here, if you had an OnlyFans, people would be interested.
I mean, we could, but only for this time. I'm really excited for the new sound designer that we have. We have a new sound designer for the Mass trailer, but I'm so excited to work with him because I'm just gonna send him a bunch of files of my flatulence, my butt
Oh
cheeks,
God, no! Why?
and then I'll be like,
Do
all right,
not drive away our
the-
new people.
Yeah, no.
Your role is not in
no,
threat.
okay,
Okay.
all right. Actually, I could give him a bunch of cool sounding sub sound effects, and then he'll never realize it's my booty cheeks.
Unless he watches the stream.
I am unbelievably immature.
Yeah.
You work with us, and you're the youngest here by
Yeah.
several years.
I mean, to be
It
fair,
makes sense.
I'm not much more mature. I have the sense of humor of a 14-year-old.
Yes, you do.
I do.
And I have the sense of humor of a 40-year-old dad.
Yeah.
I
I was
may
thinking,
be
like-
18, but I'm still 8.
90% of my humor is just memes. Just to say me. Honestly, I just my friends hate me. My friends hate my sense of humor.
General Kenobi.
My humor doesn't make sense. It's 21st century humor.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's
Anyways,
the zoomer.
I just realized we've been at this for a while and we're not even halfway through the trailer. We should probably actually get to the next
Yeah.
part. Oh. Okay, no, sorry, wait. I hate the Canary running up to him. That shot turned out
his
so bad.
fingers.
Yeah. Oh,
And then yes, we have the paladin dropping in.
again.
That paladin was a model we were given by someone, which then I went through and did a massive amount of editing to turn into a prototype. So you see, it's got exposed wires all over it. It's missing plates in places. Its right arm doesn't have a gun. It's
There's
only
the
got a
cockpit.
missile pod on one shoulder. The other one has machinery exposed.
The
It
cockpit
doesn't
is
have the actual
exposed.
cockpit yet. And then I had to texture the thing, which meant completely redoing the UV rig, which was an utter pain because almost every single face on that is disconnected from all the others. So I had to go through each individual face and decide which color it was supposed to be,
I think
and then
this
move them
won't-
around.
I think this won't make sense to like 90% of the people watching.
It will
this.
make sense to anyone who's had to do UV editing.
Yeah.
Let's just
Which-
everyone else just think it was an utter pain.
But yeah. Also, what was that like? Hang on. When it comes to the shooting, this is like a good example of the aura thing. Like I didn't want to just have him deflect the bullets. It's just the whole thing of he has aura. If he gets hit, he won't die. So why not have him get hit in brutal and painful ways, like in just a headshot? It's this type of shot that makes you flinch, and it makes sense in Ruby because that is what would happen. And it's like I can't believe that Ruby doesn't do that more often.
It took a lot of effort to get the aura only appearing in certain places
Right,
like
yeah,
that.
Yeah.
Effectively, there's an for those of you who know animation, there's an empty which basically tells it where the aura should appear.
Yeah, and also the effects are like 2D, just 2D planes with like procedurally generated, like for the sparks.
Missile.
I'd argue our aura kind of looks better than Ruby's.
People have said that, and honestly, I agree. I really like Dren did a fantastic job on it. Also, the bullets here are really, you may have noticed that they look different than, like, the trajectory look different than it was in the rest of the trailer. That's because the bullets kept going fucking up. So I had to, like, I had a particle system, and just basically particle effects that fired them. I replaced that with just animating bullets traveling from A to B, and just copy-paste that a lot. So that's why the bullets are looking weird.
I need to learn to texture paint for the Mars trailer. It's one of the things I'm going to do. I'm not sure about animating the textures, but definitely for the texture painting.
Also, the bit, hang on, where the thing just starts running, this bit was animated by Roundtable Studios, just for a bit. Like, he's one of the people that we commissioned to do, like, we commissioned him to do this fight, and he only did like the first bit because again, life came up. He had to abort the commission, and so he did like the very first bit, the flips. They looked awesome. And after this, from here on out, this is all me.
Want to talk about the backstory of the sound design here?
Okay.
The being into beat to the music.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Pause it now.
See, originally there was an original take where original sound edit was just a bunch of library sound effects where, because none of these are in time, but they're close enough to in time. So I told myself, what if I just make the sound effects in time with the music? Apparently, a lot of people really like that, but that wasn't supposed to be the case. It was just supposed to be original sounds. But I showed it to Guy. They kind of had mixed feelings about it, and the problem is we could have changed it back to the original where it wasn't synced. Problem is we were just one day away from like uploading it.
Yeah, I still think it would have been better if the sound effects were in sync with the actual animation. I don't think it entirely works, but it's close enough. So
I think this is the only
Sound
frame that you
movement?
can see that the knight's visors can open because Pitch has
Yeah.
stuck his sword underneath the knight's visor.
yeah, that's like Dren rigged them the visors to open. I was like, this is amazing, but they're not gonna open. There's no plan for that. So I had this idea of him stabbing him through the head, so we at least can show that once. But God, there's so much to talk about in this fight scene.
I want to see that frame by frame where Pitch gets exploded.
Right. Hang on.
Frame by frame.
Come on.
Yeah, boom.
It just
turns
his up.
He straight up T-poses. Turns into Jesus. He's going into heaven.
Hallelujah. Hallelujah. But yeah, as for
This
the
is
fight
hilarious.
as a whole, like one thing that I really wanted is I wanted this fight to contrast the first one. So in the first one, he was breezing through the enemies. Just taking them down left and right. They didn't pose a threat to him. They were good. Well, he was kept on his toes, but he was, doing a good job. But now he's trying to protect someone else. God, I'm gonna do it to a different frame. I don't like the pose.
He didn't get hit in the first fight.
Yeah, he
He
did
gets
get.
hit multiple times here.
Yeah, and notice every time he gets hit, again, I'm just to show you guys the way, like, just how in depth you guys can go in analyzing this. Every time he saves Canaria from something, like right now, he shoots the knight that was going to shoot her. Every time he does that, he gets hit. Like, he tries to block it, but too late. He gets hit by the thing. Then again, blocks a couple shots, and then, Canary is about to get killed. He has to block that, and blocks at the last moment, but so he stops defending himself from the knight, so he gets hit. And that just keeps happening.
And then he breaks Canaria's back by falling over her, but
Yeah, realistically, like, he has metal legs. He has been actually killing these robots by punching and kicking them. He totally should have, like, the way he was launched into it. He should be dead from this. But, we don't talk about that.
Wait, is Pitch's waist also metal? I kind of
we'll
forgot
get to
about
that
that.
when we get to the bit where
Okay.
where they're exposed. I'll explain that.
Also, this is my favorite
'Cause if
combat.
it was
We
metal,
have made
death.
that joke, Violet. I have made that joke several times.
Yeah. Also, this move of him getting hit and then dodging and kicking, that's my favorite bit of fighting in the entire trailer. I really like that. Because it shows...
He did a lot of reference footage for this. He filmed himself quite a bit.
Yeah. And it's
I
really...
think
It's really, like, it really shows what I really want to show with the trailer, like this whole him getting hit and then kicking. He's, like, far from a perfect fighter. He's really good. Actually, he's one of the best fighters in the entire cast. But, like, when he's overwhelmed, he gets overwhelmed and he still gets hit. But he's still really resourceful. So even when he's on the ground, he can still find ways to get back up and keep fighting. And that was kind of a big thing behind this trailer of he's really good, but he's facing overwhelming odds, so he struggles really hard. And so it's just, when he wins, it's just like he barely wins by the skin of his teeth.
By the way, Guy, do you want to talk about the time where you were filming yourself for reference and then you accidentally broke something in your house?
My power socket, yeah. I just, I think that was,
The
Yeah,
number
so I
of
was
times he's clonked himself.
yeah, I was holding like a prop sword that was using it for to simulate the weight of the sword. So I just had him like hit a thing, and so you just see me going, ha, oh shit. So you said it was.
We have the original video, but I don't know if we'll post it anytime soon. Maybe in a few years.
Thing is, I was wearing my pajamas for most of these reference videos, so I don't know if people want to see me in my pajamas. I don't know if I want people to see me in my pajamas. Maybe for the OnlyFans.
But on Luca's OnlyFans, yeah.
Also, let me quickly look at. Oh god, there's quite a bit of stuff going on in the chat. Hang on.
Who says it's my OnlyFans? It's the Combat Ready Studios exclusive OnlyFans.
Yeah. So
Did you know OnlyFans were supposed to be like a mini Patreon type of thing? It's not actually made for what.
Yeah, we might do a Patreon at some point. Well, it's still something we're
Yeah.
discussing. But yeah, by the way, about Ember. So the thing about holding the sword with pointing into the empty, that was one of the methods that we used at some point. We found an easier way in the meantime. First with an add-on, and now apparently we didn't even need that add-on to begin with. That is just a thing that Blaze Blender can do. Pain, pain. Yeah, okay. Violet Embers knows the pain of UV editing. To do so. Well, the thing is, like, it's UV editing. It's not that bad once you get practice, but unless it's the Paladin, where it just was broken up into so many faces.
Are you sure about that?
What? I'm not sure about what.
Quite a few of the models are just pain on it, because for getting the face right is pain. But yeah, the Paladin was especially bad because almost every single face was its own separate, disconnected bit of model.
Yeah.
So I couldn't just unwrap it and know where everything was.
Also, you cannot deny the power of T-poses. Yes, we've made so many memes. Like the characters are T-posing by default. So, they're always T-posing for dominance. And that's pretty much what Pitch is doing in a moonshot, right? Just T-pose. I feel like there should be a joke about having a canary in a coal mine. Why do you think we called Canaria that?
That's why she's called Canaria.
Again,
also, her last name is Albus. Her name's Canaria Albus,
Yeah,
if you want to know her full name.
The names, like, there's symbolism in the names, too. There's symbolism everywhere. Just everywhere. I know someone who would pay top dollar for that. Wait, you just someone put top dollar for
That's for you and your
OnlyFans?
pajamas.
I mean, that's flattering, thank you.
It's the same thing as Ruby. PTCH is his team name or his eventual team name, and Pitch is his name. His name is Pitch Palace.
Yeah.
Both sides of that have symbolism too, and I'm not going to explain it.
Yep. Also, yeah, the sword is the sword being a surfboard is a. But basically explaining how Sable Sanction works. So I mean that we tried to show it in a trailer. I'm not sure how obvious it is. It can use gravity dust to make it lighter. So
or heavier.
Well, that was the original thing. We kind of couldn't. Thing is, we couldn't find a way to color code it, so it would be obvious when it was lighter or heavier. So we eventually went with the sword is really heavy by default, but it can become lighter using gravity dust. And if the gravity dust is strong enough, it basically gets inverse gravity. So it essentially becomes, has negative weight, so it kind of flies up a bit. And that's how he can sometimes just very briefly use it as a hoverboard. Like, very briefly, because that expends a lot of dust.
He had to persuade me about this, I'm glad he did.
Yeah, you were not happy with that at first, but yeah. It's just, again, he only can do it really briefly. And also, notice how the sword, it can only soar up. There is no propulsion. The only reason he kind of flies forward is because he hits it at an angle, and then just keeps the momentum going. Then, boom. Last thing about the gun, it's a gravity dust propelled railgun. So everything about like his weapons has something to do with gravity dust, except for the blade. The blade is hard light dust, but we made it purple because it looked cooler if it was purple. So we just went hard light dust and gravity dust kind of stuck together or something. We kind of hand-waved that one. But so it's a railgun, so it uses gravity dust to accelerate the bullets.
Technically, rather than railgun, it's a coil gun, but they're fairly similar.
Okay.
So yeah, it uses gravity to. You say that, Violet. The bullets also can have gravity dust packed in them. That's how the final bit works. But yeah, it's pulling the bullet through the barrel of the gun and out, which is why there are purple sections all the way along the gun barrel.
Yeah.
Very difficult to see.
But yeah, as for like why the blade is purple, yeah, we did that. Doesn't make a whole lot of sense. We fully concede on that. We kind of hand waved the explanation a little bit because it would look cooler if the blade was purple. But,
Samuel L. Jackson be
yeah.
like,
we try to avoid it. Like we try to avoid these sorts of hand waves. You know, as much as we love the rule of cool, we try to still have things make sense. And this is just an instance where we decided that the blade being purple was worth the plot hole.
To be honest, Violet, Ruby is very sort of on how gravity dust works. It might be that the whole thing of the thing floating isn't supposed to work, but the whole reason the Amity Arena can float is because it has gravity dust in it.
Mm.
And that's sort of how flight is achieved in Ruby, as far as we know, in a lot of ways. So we just kind of went with it. If we get a good shot, I'll show you what his emblem looks like. And here we go. Here we get to this part. Now pause it there.
Hang on, I have a good shot to pause on.
No, I've definitely wanted that previous one down a bit.
Cool. Oh, with the legs, right.
Yeah, there. So loads of people picked up on the robotic arm. Not many people picked up on the robotic legs.
Yeah, that's my bad. That's my bad.
Plural.
Yeah, I didn't really draw attention to that. That's my bad.
Don't worry about it.
Both his right arm, and his legs are prosthetics.
Yeah. Now, Pitch's prosthetics were designed along the same principles as Yang, partially because I just like the whole mannequin style of joints, the same as Yang has. But also because initially, and we've dropped this since, there was the idea that Pitch helped, before we met Pietro, there was the idea that Pitch actually helped work on Yang's arm, because he does do some sort of, he made his own prosthetics. He learned a bunch of stuff to do it. He deliberately taught himself for reasons. And we wanted that. That was another connection with Ruby.
And then Volume 7 happened, and we learned that Pietro had made Yang's arm, so that...
For all we know, possibly, because it definitely has some other functions. For example, I believe we made it so his arm connects to his scroll, so he can literally he can use his pinky and his thumb to do scroll calls.
Also, his arm connects to his sword of Sable Sanction. That's why he can activate the hard, not the hard light. He can the gravity dust. He can activate and deactivate it remotely. That's because his prosthetic connects to that.
Yep.
So yeah, this was.
And it connects in a rather painful way to his shoulder, or it looks painful at least.
Yeah.
There we go.
The fire in the scene, it's all 2D planes. Like I rendered it out somewhere else and then imported it in.
Pitch's prosthetic is too low poly around his shoulder. I always get annoyed with that. So there's a good shot. We can see all of it. So yeah,
you can even see
his leg prosthetics do not go up to his waist. They stop sort of a short way below the top of his legs. Yeah, you can kind of see his emblem there. His emblem is with the gravity dust symbol overlaid over it.
By the way, did the screen just go black? I feel
yes, it did.
Shit, hang on.
It
always happens when I check the chat. I'm just checking I'll check the chat later.
There we go.
Let you finish talking through it.
Septic said them face shadows. Yeah, the face shadows, we didn't actually adjust any normals on this. All of the face shadows are entirely due to Guy adding extra lights.
That's like a lot of lights around him.
Wait, Luca, are you just gone completely, or are you just gone in video?
I think I'm back. You're back. I think.
Okay. You're going to the Shadow Realm, anyway. Jimbo.
But yeah, Dragon, we haven't decided whether it has a vibrate function. It very well might in the end.
Like, someone just went...
It has to.
My brain just goes black holes in a gun. That would be very, very cool. That's not the case, but it would be very cool.
I have made, in not Pitch, another thing which I was writing, guns that are fired using collapsing black holes to propel the bullets.
Someone asked... does his arm have a vibration function? Well, I think we'll have to answer this. Does it? I don't know.
In my professional opinion, I don't care what the actual writers of this show, which is these two, say. I don't care. It has it. It has it.
Okay, it's Luca's headcanon.
See, what if he gets a phone call? You said his arm can answer calls.
You're right.
And what if What if he needs a massage because
I
of
have now
all
just
that hard
his
work?
hands on a desk, and suddenly his right hand starts vibrating on the desk, and everyone's like looking at him oddly. So they just answers a phone call.
Oh my god. Yeah, I don't know.
You never know.
We'll figure that one out at a
If
later
we
date.
ever make
Never
Chippy,
figure
there
it's
will be a
canon
skit
now.
about his arm having a vibration function.
Okay.
It's not.
Awesome.
We won't figure it out. It's canon. It's one. I said so.
Also, I'm sorry, Dren. I'm about to highlight something.
Yes, no, no.
The textures are missing on the rope.
Yeah, the textures in this shot are missing on the weird yellow rope. Yeah, perfect. Honest, that rope was so annoying. I don't know why we kept it for the original design. The reason for that pouch doesn't exist anymore. Originally, his gun was able to fire it was a single shotgun with an extremely powerful shot, and the idea was that he
Extremely,
kept
guys.
the giant shells.
Dren, you cut out real
Yeah.
quick.
Okay.
He was saying a gun with like a single shotgun with a very, very powerful shot. So that part just kind of got lost.
The idea was that that pouch held absolutely massive shells, almost artillery shell size, for this gun. But we changed that because we couldn't get a gun that large to work in the sort of transformation. But we kept the pouch
Yeah.
just for him to, if I'm going to put something, and it is so irritating.
Sorry, I just realized. Oh, this is taking us so long. We need to actually.
Yeah, of course it is.
Sorry, there's
We're
so
talking
much.
about it.
There's so much to talk about here. I really like
That
this shot.
shot.
Yeah, I've been really getting into using negative space, aka just shot cinematography where a lot of the frame is just obscured. I'm getting. I want to use it more because I love it. I think it looks amazing, and also we went a little bit hard on the symbolism there. Oh, like okay, before we go there, like we with Young Pitch and the Canaria parallel, like I
hate
remember
their hands.
what, sorry?
I hate their hands.
Okay, I'll switch to the next shot.
Oh yeah,
Okay,
chromatic
yeah.
aberration, baby.
Yeah. But yeah, so basically we got a comment where someone was basically going, hey, the parallels are a little bit on the nose, and they're right, they are. We really, really wanted to know that Pitch sees his old self in Canaria. Mainly because I was paranoid that people would think that they were overthinking. Because again, in these Ruby fan trailers, there's not usually that much story to them, which again is completely fine. It just usually, if people, if I saw some possible symbolism in a Silver trailer, I just actually second guess like, wait, is that intentional? Is that what they wanted? And I just wanted people to know, like, yes, it just theorize away or just interpret all the subtext that you want. That is totally intentional. And so I really wanted to highlight that about this trailer. In the future trailers, the symbolism will be more subtle. The subtext will be more subtle. But for this one, I guess we really wanted to be clear on this is the type of show that this is. Wow, words. I'm so
Clara,
bad at words.
yes, you are right, but in the grand scheme of things, this is small-time trauma for us.
In the grand scheme of things.
Oh god, yeah, there is so much drama in Pitch. Like, I mean,
slaps Pitch. This bad boy can fit so much trauma in.
I mean, Pitch himself, he's a massive edgelord. Like, I honestly,
Someone him as anime Batman in one of our videos, and yes,
he is anime Batman, basic, yeah. And yeah, he's a massive edgelord. We're gonna like that's gonna actually be a challenge to actually lean into that without just making it a joke, because it is funny, but also it's still meant to be a character that you can take seriously. So that's gonna be fun trying to balance him being an edgelord with him being an actual dramatic character.
He listens to My Chemical Romance.
He probably does. Oh, also with Lotus, how like during this change, like when we're trying to get the flashback, transition the flashback to the present, the fires fade out, the orange light disappears, and is just replaced by white lights. The floor changes
the ground
to snow.
turns to snow.
Yeah, so that wasn't actually planned. Both that and the lighting change when we switched to Canaria, that wasn't actually planned at all. And I just, in the heat of the moment, like when I was doing the lighting, I was like, wait a minute, I can do something interesting with this. That's why that. And now we get to the final. The entire final fight was animated by Septic. I didn't do any of this, at least like just for the animation
Which is why
itself.
it looks amazing.
It looks, yeah, it's best fight in the trailers.
There's
There
so
was
much
some
going
stuff
on.
suggested,
Oh.
but
Oh, yeah.
yeah,
It's what was that? Sorry, Dren.
I'll get to it later when we actually see
Cool.
this.
Yeah, God, I love this shot. And yeah, and then another one. This is a fun one. It's like this explosion. This one that was mostly me. I don't actually know if Septic was meant for there to be an explosion behind him when he did that. I saw this and thought, okay, I really want something to explode behind him. And so here I spent way too much time. I spent more time shading this shot than I did with most of the others, because I basically edited the textures, like darkened the shadows. And then, like, if you see the blades, like the hard light blade, it's currently almost white. The purple is almost completely gone. That wasn't a post-production thing. I did that in the render, just because I really wanted the shot to look as cool as possible. Because there was a lot of potential to it. And but it's just I spent like an hour on this, and it's over in a few frames. Oh God, please jump back a bit. It's like here, it just boom, and it's gone, and we're on to the next thing. This is a very thankless job.
This just adds on top of the fact that Pitch is very emo and edgy. It's just the fact that cool guys don't look at explosions, and then there's a typical huge badass explosion happening behind.
Yeah. Oh, again, she's like a chromatic aberration.
And this is, as some people thought it was, Pitch's aura breaking.
Yes.
He has been smashed into a window. That's our aura break effect, where it does the massive sort of flare.
Yeah, so, some people thought he had like a defensive semblance. He doesn't actually. His semblance isn't in this trailer. We
don't show his semblance yet.
That's
it has rather specific requirements for working.
Yeah, it wouldn't have helped here. These sparkles, by the way, like the sparkles near the top, those that wasn't intentional. That was just like a byproduct of what I did for the aura break effect. Because I messed with the aura shader quite a bit, and that I could have fixed it, but I thought it looked way cooler to just keep it in.
It looks fantastic,
so,
man.
I've just pretended like it was on purpose.
Wait. Go back a few frames. Like you keep going. When Pitch is about to hit the wall.
Okay. Oh boy, that's actually quite a bit further. Hang on.
All right.
Boom. Oh.
Around here. Oh.
There it is.
There it is. There it is.
What's it say? Oh God, I can't read.
That?
It's something in German. I remembered more or less what it was, but right now I don't remember the words and I can't read it. Wegen Brauchtumspflege geschlossen, I think, which is closed due to. I think something like maintenance. I don't remember. I do know German. I did grow up in Germany.
Maintenance or something.
Right. It's like I grew up in Germany, but I don't know that word.
The person who initially made the stage, I think they used some stock parts they had lying around for certain bits, which included a sign there with that text on. And I thought I had got rid of it. And somehow I managed to miss the actual text. And because Guy animated this using the low poly stage, when we swapped back to the high poly stage and rendered it, we managed to accidentally render that one bit that we hadn't managed to clear it from.
Yeah, it's only there for like 1, 2, 3, 4 frames. It's there for 4 frames. No one notices it, but we pointed out. So
I did.
There.
Also, once again, his ropes do not have a texture.
Yeah, it's missing again. I didn't. Boom. Yeah. Also, again, aura break. That was a big thing that we wanted for the trailer. Like, we wanted to highlight that Pitch. Like, so in many ways, of course, Pitch is like Ruby, but Pitch, the tone is generally darker. The characters generally get hurt more. They struggle more. They lose a lot. And so.
When do they win?
What, sorry?
When do they ever win?
Well, there's a lot of bittersweet victories.
There's a couple of victories, yes.
But yeah, so they lose that, and we just kind of wanted to set the stage for that. Basically going, just in the first trailer, he immediately loses his aura, and we just kind of wanted to highlight that in Pitch, the fights are tough and brutal and difficult, and they're still cool. Don't worry, we're still going all Ruby rule of cool thing. Just like it shows, like my favorite fights in Ruby. My 2 favorite fights are Penny versus Pyrrha and Pyrrha versus Cinder. And I love Pyrrha versus Cinder because it's so nerve-wracking. And it's like this really... And Pyrrha is really, really awesome, but she's still completely outmatched. But she's still... like the fact that Cinder is so much stronger than her means that the couple moments that when she manages to turn the tide are so much more satisfying. And I love this. I love the idea of someone just having this massive uphill battle that is possibly even an impossible battle, and they just do everything they possibly can to win. And sometimes that just isn't enough. Sorry, Luca, you were gonna say something.
No, I just said, as you were mentioning Pyrrha, I thought you were gonna mention that she died.
Well, yeah, she did.
You paused for a second. I thought, is he gonna say it? I don't know whether I'm gonna say it.
Too soon.
She died. Not too soon, man. It's been years.
It will always be
Too soon.
But yeah.
See.
But yeah. Also, this bit, I really like this moment. Again, this was
There's
most
a
of this.
problem with the timing there. That by the time he picks up the sword, it should have already hit her.
Yeah, we cheated a little bit with editing. But yeah, Sefti came up with like the vast majority of the choreography for the final fight, and he did an amazing job.
That is me. That bit about grabbing the missile and throwing it back, I wanted that.
Was that you? I don't remember that.
Because I remember talking
That
about
was my opinion.
you know that thing from Kung Fu Panda 2.
Oh yes, I remember that.
Yes, 3, right? Was it 3?
2.
It was 2, the
When
one
he
with
grabs
the
the cannonballs.
one with the peacock.
Yeah.
Yeah, that one. Sorry, yeah, that one where he threw it back.
This whole scene was more like also we wanted. I told Seftik like we want another scene there where Canaria is in danger because he was the entire fight is to protect her. So we didn't want us to get sidetracked and just have focus on Pitch fighting the Paladin. It was still meant to be about protecting Canaria. So I wanted one more moment of oh god, is she gonna die? And then boom, he saves her, and now we get to the finisher move, which was one of
By
the
the
first
way, I'm
ideas.
gonna ruin this shot.
You what?
Wait, before that, let's ruin the previous shot. As Seftik mentioned here, he forgot to make the sword glow. So
Well, technically, since
let's just
yeah,
say to make it. What's up?
never mind.
Sorry, I was drinking
Oh.
water.
Where?
You can just say it's symbolism for Pitch. This is Pitch's last stand, and he just grabbed it with all his might and threw it.
Yeah, sure. Let's go with that. Let's say that there
Pitch
was
is
no more
supposed to
gravity
be
dust.
fairly strong.
He is, like, especially with his prosthetics. So yeah, sure. Let's say that the sword had run out of gravity dust, so he just threw it at the last moment. Yeah, but I don't know if that makes sense. With like how strong he is, but he is quite strong, but the sword is very heavy. I don't know if it makes sense, but you are free to headcanon it, or you can just see it as a mistake. It's up to you. It depends on whether you subscribe
That's
to
still one of
Death
my
the
favorite
Author.
moves.
Yes. Oh, I love this so
Yeah.
much.
I love that explosion throw.
And
And then this thing.
boom. I'll go back a bit. But yeah, I'll go ahead. So for this finisher move, there's a couple things to talk about. Okay, yeah, Dren, sorry, you wanna start?
The gun itself makes some slight changes if you go forward a little bit and go through frame by frame.
To what? Sorry.
When it's a bit more zoomed in, go through frame by frame on the gun.
Yeah.
So there is the bit that he's been holding as the sword hilt expands into a stock. A sight pops out the top, and these two weird hammer things at the back rotate to be upright. They aren't actually hammers. That's just a sort of we in this mode thing. Technically, those can all happen
But
at any time, but
Yeah.
the hammers are the only bit that actually means yes, he's firing the big shot.
Yeah. And the
He
big
can
shot.
bring out the stock whenever he needs, and he can bring out the sight whenever he needs.
Yeah. The big shot is essentially he channels all the remaining gravity dust in his gun into one really, really powerful shot with a lot of recoil because it's a lot of gravity dust. So basically after that his weapon is just completely empty. Which is why he just
He
doesn't
can't
do it
even make
right.
the blade on the gun after it.
Yeah. So and he can't shoot either because that requires gravity dust too. That's why he just doesn't do it to begin with. It's because once he does it, he there is no more gravity dust in Sable, and it runs on gravity dust. Oh, Sable being the second part of the weapon.
His weapon is called Sable Sanction, but we ended up calling the big sword Sanction and the gun Sable just to make it easier to talk between ourselves.
Yeah. But yeah, so Sable essentially. So yeah, this is why it's like a finisher move. This is why it's not a thing of hey, why didn't you just do that to begin with? Which is something you want to avoid, by the way. Ruby has a lot of characters having really cool powers and really useful powers, and then just not using them in important moments. And we really want to avoid that. Like we want everything that our characters do to make sense.
That it is, Seftik. That it is.
That is what? Sorry.
His arm is strong enough to redirect a missile.
Sorry. Yeah, that's true. That's true. I guess he is just really. I guess his prosthetic arm just is really strong. Actually, that's another
But
thing.
he's not the strongest person in our main cast.
No, he is not. But yeah, so he that's another thing. He only ever wields sanction with his right arm, and that was something that I both did. Like I always took care to do in the
Both,
animation.
but yes.
And or with both, yes. But like if it's only one arm, it's never his left. It's only his right. I told Septic to keep that in mind as well, precisely because his prosthetic arm is much stronger than his left. So he can lift heavier things, and sanction is heavy. Also, finally, another thing that I'm not entirely happy with this, but I kind of needed to. The clouds are moving weirdly fast behind him. But they kind of had to
wanted
because...
to mention that, but I wondered if I should shut myself up.
No, go for it. So basically, I want a cool moonshot at the end, because if the clouds were covering it, the framing would be just gray and muddy, and this wouldn't look interesting. But also, then the Sable's like lights, just the purple lights, get really bright. So, and that would then clash with the moon. Like if the moon was bright and then you have the bright purple lights, we wouldn't be focusing on the lights. So we need to first focus on the pose, and then as the Sable activates, we needed to focus on the purple flashing lights. And so the moon had to be obscured very fast.
I still have no idea how Guy made that effect at the end.
Just basically messing around with nodes a lot. Like this is essentially so this is a 2D plane. Like both of these are 2D planes. Where it's like the gunshot effect is based on a tutorial that I used to make like the knight's muzzle flashes, and then I adapted it for the Sable. Just change a few things around. But if you break it, like if you take a color ramp the wrong way or something, it results in this effect. Like instead of the inside, instead of something being on the inside and the outside being empty, we have something on the outside and the inside is empty. And so I'm not sure why. It just literally just me messing around with sliders until I broke it, and then I realized this actually looks really cool. So I just decided to combine the effects, and yeah, just boom. Again,
Rather than F around, we've been using the Skyrim motto of "it just works."
Yes. Again, impact frame, white, black, then a bunch of weird.
Then
renders.
chromatic aberration.
Then chromatic aberration to the max. Just crank it.
Also, I used my butt cheeks on this one too.
Yeah.
Gotta throw that one in there.
Get your ass out of my trailer.
So yeah, and then this was a bit of a jarring transition, but like from him, this shot to this shot's a bit jarring, but and then yeah,
and Paladins in pieces.
Oh yeah, this last scene, by the way, this was one of the last things that we added, like at least that we decided to add. For the longest time, the trailer was going to end with Pitch landing on a sword. Then we just see like Canary looking at him in awe, so we know she's okay. And then it ends. Like originally, he was supposed to strike a really cool pose, and then he like would become a silhouette, just like Ruby in the Red trailer. And I realized something about that felt off. Then I realized that's, we basically had this whole thing with him trying to save Canaria, and he just succeeded, but we don't really get much of a payoff to that. It's cool, she's not dead, so we end it. And then I just had the idea of adding this last scene, which just adds so much depth to the story. Like honestly, I can't imagine the trailer existing without this last scene, because it just, it makes it a lot more bittersweet. Like he saved her life, but also he didn't save everything, and that just makes the ending a lot more
now, how a
interesting and
concrete
impactful.
building and snow is on fire.
No. Also, when did the building actually set on fire? Last we saw it
When the
was
missile
fine.
hits it.
It's supposedly, but it's the same building that Pitch slams against when he loses his aura, and there's no fire there to be seen. Like, I did want the missile to hit the building there, precisely so it would set it on fire. And I was like, oh, but then it wouldn't look good if there was fire there. Okay, I'm gonna shut up now. I'm gonna shut up now. It makes sense.
Nothing bad ever happened. Ever.
Yeah. But yeah, so
Rule of cool.
again, as with the rest of the trailer, all my favorite shots come right after all my least favorite shots. Like Pitch kneeling down. I hate this. This turned out so bad. It's so awkward. But then him putting his hand on her shoulder immediately looks a lot better. It just all the best animations are right next to all the worst animations, and I hate that.
Trauma.
And that's just
Well, if you want to know a little bit more about Canaria's trauma, Guy has written a short story about her.
yeah. Actually, I was gonna go to that one next. But
Don't look at her gloves.
There's the lineup.
yeah. Also, but yeah. Also, just a last thing. I really liked the way like, the lineup comes in. It's like it makes it almost look like claustrophobic. And it's like it's caging young Pitch in, and I really like this visual.
Crawling in my skin.
Yeah.
Whatever you do, don't
Honestly,
look at them gloves.
Just look at Pitch's lineup
yeah.
art. It's the like his lineup art. It's just pure crawling in my skin energy.
There have been some slight changes to the characters on here's character design over time, mostly in the weapons. Tango's lost her holsters and her revolvers have a different design now. And Han's weapon, when we actually made his design, we didn't entirely know what it was going to be. So his weapon, it looks quite different now. I'm not going to give you any information on what it is, but
yeah.
it looks quite different.
Also, this lineup art, like this was made quite a while ago. This was
made just after we got Carmine's design.
Yeah, Han was actually the very first artwork that Luca ever did for us, and you can definitely tell like it is definitely like quite outdated when it comes to Luca's current style. Like it still looks really good, but holy shit, Luca, you're so much better now. You can see some of that in the other characters. Also, Tanger's.
I like how you can see like my progression here.
Yeah. Also,
Which was the last one you did?
Tanger.
It would be Tanger.
Okay. Or Carmine.
Look at Han's hair. Look at Han's hair and then compare it to Tanger's hair. Tanger has a much smoother shading.
Also the shadows. Like remember you made Han back when you didn't know about like how to do directional shadows yet.
And I didn't know how that worked.
And but yeah, also Tanger's thing is as well like her vibe is a little bit off for the lineup art. Like her face is meant to be like a little thinner. She's supposed to have a bit more of a like I don't know. It's I guess tougher look is the best way to describe it. It's just the reason we had her smile is because everyone else was already frowning. I think that actually, yeah, I think she might have been the last one that we did, the last artwork that we did, because everyone else was frowning. It was like we need one person who's smiling, just one. But that
just like the Carmine has
she
double at 17.
and she is the one for whom it fits the most. She is like the least edgy out of the four. She's still edgy. She's just the least edgy. but still,
she's the least edgy because she uses guns, whereas they all use blades.
Yeah, we still overcompensated a bit. As I'm really looking forward to. Like at some point, we're gonna do a revamped lineup to adjust for just the newer style more. I think probably sometime before the last trailer releases.
Carmine is just standing there menacingly.
Yeah, this is also his concept art.
Yeah, we literally just used his concept art for this. We didn't draw a new one for it or anything.
Yeah.
It's just him standing.
Yeah. No, hang on, let me look at the comments.
Kind of looks alright.
I realize.
Butt cheeks go burr. Warlord, is that you? No, every no snow is highly flammable. Yeah, trauma. So who's the team mom? Tan is the closest to being a team mom, but also she's not.
The team mom isn't on Team Pitch. The team mom is on Team Guild.
Yeah, that's the thing. Team Pitch, they're like these people are all fucked up. I can't stress this. I can't stress enough just how many issues these characters have. Actually, the least edgy of all of them. Is it actually Tan? God, it is Tan, and she is still Tan. Edgy as. Yeah, Team Guilds is the happy one.
Should we show them the lineup for Team Guild? Because I'm not sure if they've seen that.
Yes.
You should show them Pitch Guild. Didn't I like send you guys a version of it where it's both? Oh no, wait, never mind.
It's fine. I've got it. I'll just head over
That's
to.
Fade, isn't it?
Where is it? But Fade is an amazing song. There we go.
There we go.
Yeah, you guys should check it out.
You can tell that this lineup.
Blood and soul.
You can tell that Guild's lineup was done after Pitches because it looks a lot just generally a lot better.
Although Guilds is still is concept art, but
Yes.
yes, the others are a bit more
And
playful.
Ivory is she's one of my favorite characters and
Yes,
probably
we
my
like
favorite
Ivory.
design.
On this, I actually drew not these pictures, but I came up with Ivory and Trite, who's the guy on the right's design. And if any of these characters on these four could be called Team Mum, I'd probably choose Trite.
Yes, definitely.
Big boy.
And these are also just Lapis and Trite. I really love the visual storytelling going on, even in the lineup art, because they even like these two, they did not give a shit about the frame, about staying in frame.
And he also doesn't really give a fuck about accurate size because he's just so massive. I had to shrink him down.
Yeah, the size difference is a bit more extreme than shown in this.
Luca did have to cut showing Lapis's left hand because if he did, it would have been on Ivory's ass.
Oh god, that you just made the first ship. Congratulations, Dren. This is gonna. If the people watching,
We
this is.
do not ship the cute's neck.
We don't, but they will. You know they will.
Yeah, Lapis is incredibly small and Trite is incredibly large.
Yeah.
Super small, actually. She's actually genuinely,
She's shorter
really
than Neo.
small.
She was
Yes.
sorry, Dren? What was that, Dren?
She's shorter than Neo.
She is. But yeah.
Quite a way, actually.
Honestly, they are just. You can tell that Team Guild are the wholesome squad. Especially Lapis and Trite. Everyone else, like, Team Page is just edgelords through and through. And okay, no, there is edginess in Team Guild because it's still us.
Because
But-
Ivory.
because
Actually,
Ivory.
Trite has his own stuff going
Yeah,
on.
but overall, there's
Lapis is the only non-edgy character, pretty much.
in the
she's
main
just cute.
cast. Yeah, I mean, but still, I'd still say like Trite is he has his own stuff, but he's not edgy. He's
Yeah.
he's
Oh, yeah,
stable.
Clara.
he's mature and stable, which is more than we can say for almost everyone else.
Clara,
Oh,
Lapis
and
does actually
also-
ride around on Trite's shoulder at times. Like, she can
A
sit on
small
one of his shoulders.
fact-
Yes.
A small fact about the lineup art is that this is probably the only lineup art from what I know, that exists where the letters are on the side. Because if the L, or sorry, all the letters are in the middle, the L would just block Lapis's face.
Yeah.
But there was a lot of workarounds, like for example, her arm because of butt stuff, and the L. So we had to take a lot of liberties.
It's guilt. It's as in you gild like gilt leaf. So gold leaf. It's called gilt leaf. It's literally spelled exactly like that. That itself is a word, unlike pitch, where you've had to add a letter.
Yeah.
Ivory's
Ivory's
guilt, like
Ivory's
G-U-I-L-T.
well, that's secondary
Oh,
meaning.
yes, and Ivory has a top hat because I like
Yeah.
giving my characters hats.
The top hat was actually very late edition, but the moment that we added her hat, her like this thing of her holding the hat became her signature pose. Like, with like hair covering one of her eyes. You'll see her doing this a lot because it's a great pose.
Oh, there's a lot of mistakes. I wish I could if I had time, I would redraw this. I'm gonna say something that might ruin it. Her forearm is fucking long.
We had that problem with Han already.
Oh yeah, we did.
Also,
fixed it.
Ivory probably has the most awkward shirt to button up that's ever been made. Because instead of one button,
Oh,
she has
right.
four
Oh,
buttons.
God,
in a single one.
It must take her so long to get ready every day.
I actually asked Dren about that a few years ago. How does the buttons work? Does she have like 4 buttons every
She has
single
4
button?
buttons.
Oh my god, this is awful.
Don't ask me why I did it. I just wanted to add coolness.
If this
It's
ever became
symbolism.
if this ever became popular enough for cosplayers to do these characters, whoever decides to play Ivory would actually murder you.
They aren't Dragon. I don't particularly want to say what the characters are inspired by because for some of them, it spoils what's going to happen later in the story.
Yes.
Are there any characters we can say who they're based off?
Honestly, the characters' inspirations just went apeshit. I think we can say it for Lapis and Trite. It's just Lapis's inspiration is long since just gone.
Yeah, Lapis' inspiration barely bears any resemblance to at all. But Trite is based off of a particular Cyclops from Greek myth. I forgot what his name is. Let me look him up.
Mole Mine?
No, isn't it like oh god.
What's his name?
Well, we know was he based on
Arges.
yeah, that's why he's called Trite. Well, actually, yeah, Trite Arges. That's actually his.
Yeah, his last name is Arges. The name meaning bright, and that was the Cyclops that forged Zeus's thunderbolts.
Yeah.
You're right. He does look like Nick Fury.
And that's hence his eye.
Because he brings the thunder.
Hence his eye emblem.
Yes, hence his eye emblem and his eye patch.
Yeah. Oh, there's a story behind his eye patch.
There's a story behind almost everything you can see.
There is a story behind it. Yeah. Again, with a
There's
lot
a story behind Ivory's hat. There is a story behind Ivory's emblem. There's a story behind Guild's armor being more damaged than Carmine.
There's a story behind Ivory's hair. Remember, like her hair color. There's a story. There's
in the chat, I'm going to type down because it's Team Guilt, but the first character in it is called Guild. They're two separate names,
with a D,
which is going to confuse a lot. I don't know if that's going to be more or less confusing than having the team name be the same as its actual name.
I think when it's written down, I mean, like, it doesn't confuse me, or I think it doesn't confuse us anymore because we're just used to using the correct spelling. But I think a lot of people will, get the spelling wrong and say guilt when they mean guild and vice versa, and that's going to cause a lot of confusion, I think.
Gotta emphasize that T. Guilt.
Right. Oh, by the way, shall we move on to the short story and the casting call now?
You feel your
guilt. Does anyone still want to say anything about the lineups?
Guild is the character's name, but it's spelled Gilt. Right. Sorry, Gild.
Wasn't
to gild something is to cover it in gilt leaf, so they're related. But yeah,
didn't you guys mention something about Ivory's hat being inspired by Slash,
whoa.
or is that
wait,
just
wait, don't.
No, it wasn't.
Don't say
that wasn't something.
I didn't hear what you said. Don't say the inspiration.
It wasn't the inspiration. It was he said Slash, but no, it wasn't.
Yeah.
I just wanted to give someone a top hat.
But this whole time we've been very nervous about accidentally saying spoilers because both Dren and I are like the Tom Holland of we're like Tom Holland when it comes to spoilers. We have let so many things slip in the past, and we really don't want to let anything slip in an official live stream that will be recorded forever. Honestly, we've already said a bunch of things that if people actually put things together and go back and connect things, you guys can probably guess a couple things about the story, mostly related to Pidge and stuff there. But that's good. Leaving little nuggets of information that people can put together is great. It just we don't just want to spoil the twist. There's a lot of twists in the story.
What a twist!
But yeah. Anyway, hang on.
I can guarantee that.
I'll go. Hang on. I'll switch to.
Discord view, right?
Yep.
If you haven't listened to it, listen to the other songs on here. There's symbolism in all of them.
Oh yeah, God yes. Ooh. There is so many hints about character motivations and backstories and just all of that. There's a lot. So by the way,
I just really love Fade.
I put this in a pinned comment and I made a community post, but also the channel has grown a lot since then. So I don't know. I don't know if I think a lot of people might have missed this, but we are currently doing a casting call for the Mask trailer, which is the one that uses the song The Only Ones, and that will feature both Han and Tanger. Why two? It's because there's not, we have two teams, not just one. Pitch are more main characters, Team Guild are a little more side characters, but they're still very important, kind of like Ruby and Juniper. Guild is our Juniper, but they're more, well...
They're important from the start, rather than taking 3 volumes to become important.
Yeah. So we wanted to make trailers for everyone. And
trailers for everyone.
Originally, back before Dren really wanted to make.
We're gonna die.
Back before Dren wanted to make the series, he's had trailers, plans for trailers for every single one of them. And then, when we decide to make this, we obviously decide to combine them. So we matched Han and Tanger, Carmine and Guild, and Lapis and Trite, and then Pitch and Ivory get their own separate trailers. And the thing with the second trailer, with the Mask trailer, is there's gonna be voice acting, and so
it won't be by me.
Yep, not this time. And another thing that we're doing is we are making a comic. Actually, I'll show the cover here.
We haven't done the art on the comic
Which,
in a while,
Yeah,
but we've got some
which
stuff.
I haven't done progress yet.
yeah.
I've only done like 3 pages.
It'll be made over summer. So this is like the see. Tan is still edgy. Don't worry, guys. He's the least edgy, but he is still edgy.
I
Uh,
currently, let me just go over. I'm just waiting to see if it actually comes up on screen.
hang
I
on.
was we've just gone to the casting call on the stream for me.
Right. Hang on. Just before we move on to another thing, I just quickly want to show how this ties into the casting call. Because basically we'll be doing a comic dub. We'll probably keep that one simple. We don't want it to be overly flashy because we don't want to overwork people and ourselves. Because like our focus should still be on the trailer. But basically the comic was meant to be like a fun side thing, but it has become quite important for the story of the trailer. It's like a prequel to the trailer that takes place immediately before that, and we really want people to see that. So we'll be doing a comic dub. So we are casting voice actors. So if any of you like voice acting and want to give it a shot, we are casting Tanger and Han, and then a few backstory characters like Jazz, who's Jazz.
I will point out, Jazz is the only character which I had no hand in creating. That is all Guy.
Yeah.
So you can blame him on Guy.
He is the worst. Then there's Jadis, who is Tanger's mom, and geez, honestly, most people here are slightly problematic. I mean, Jazz is just a piece of shit. Jade is also a piece of shit and responsible for most bad things in Tanger's life. Jazz is responsible for the remaining ones. And Solera is connected to Han, and she is, well, you can see she is our Inspector Javert. I can't
She's
pronounce
not
it.
based off Inspector Javert,
No.
but she kind of does that sort of stuff.
Yeah, she it has the same vibe. And yeah, if you guys want, also we are
Designs and the most copies.
sorry, we are recruiting also some animators because just this trailer is pretty ambitious. And because we animators is like is currently the one role that one of the few roles at least that we can will likely pay just because it's just by far the most time consuming role on a project that we are delegating to someone else. Because it's it takes years to learn and then dozens and dozens of hours to do even a fairly short one. I mean, obviously, we still have a couple animators who are lending their help for free, which we are just insanely grateful for. Especially since I learned to animate myself, it's just insanely grateful for it because we just straight up can't afford to pay.
Now they know the pain.
Yeah, we just can't afford to play a full production, which honestly I would if I could. I wish I could just have a full team and just pay everyone, and hopefully one day we'll get there. But right now
One day I'll get my potato chip. One day.
Yeah. One day.
I would just like to point out, Solera probably has the most copies of her emblem on her of any character in Ruby or in Pitch, because she has 24 copies of her emblem on her outfit.
Yep. Yeah, we'll see.
10 and 25, it's just one of them is always covered if you can see another one.
Also, I don't like the dialogue that I wrote for her. It's just we only had one audition for Solera, but when she actually when she actually said the lines out loud, by the way, she's an amazing voice actress. But when she actually said this line out loud, I cringed and was like, oh, I'm going to be rewriting this. But yeah, otherwise
Solera's design. It's probably one of my favorite designs in this. Not my favorite, but one of them.
It is, yeah, I really like it. But yeah, then we are looking for a texture artist, because again, we want to upgrade our textures. Not sure if anyone's... Again, I don't really expect anyone to apply. This is just more of a just-in-case thing. And then finally, like, VFX and shading artists, because, like, the shading was another thing that we really want to improve on, and, like, VFX as well. I did all the VFX, but I'm not a VFX artist. I'm not very good at it. A lot of it was kind of cobbled together, and I want to be able to focus on other aspects of it. So
And I made the shade. I don't understand how it works anymore.
Yeah. So, if anyone has skills in these areas and is interested in helping out, here you go. Feel free to apply.
The gate's open for everybody.
We welcome all help. This is still like a group project. Most Ruby fan animations are solo, like mostly done by one person or maybe two people. But Pitch was always meant to be more of a group project. Even from the early days, like remember I told about this one. I told a story early on when we weren't even going to be doing the animation modeling, which was a profoundly stupid decision. But it's still meant to be. I love doing teamwork. It's just that's my favorite thing to do. Just get together with a bunch of creative people and make something cool. So that's kind of what I hope pitch will be. Because if we just did all of this on our own, it wouldn't be nearly as much fun.
Yeah, we'd be glad to have more people on the team. I mean, we're a pretty fun team, I'd say so myself. I mean, it's been years and we're still reciting the same video over again of that soup thing.
There's only soup.
What
Yeah,
do you mean there's only soup?
we work together really well. Like we kind of, I adore working with Dren and Luca because especially we've been working together for several years and we just got into this rhythm of we bounce off of each other really well. Like we were on the same wavelength. Just so many times I tell Luca, hey, how about you do this? And he's like, already done, already on it. Didn't need to tell me that. And
Gee, do you want to tell them the constellation story?
in a moment. Before that, let's go here because this is another thing that I don't think a lot of people looked at. Well, 74 hits. That's actually quite a few. But compared.
And don't worry, we've been learning for the entire project. If you want to help, come in. You can lend what help you can. If you want to learn some more and then come in later, feel free. It's entirely up to you.
Yeah, but like our Discord is open to
Yeah, the
everybody.
Discord is
If
open
anyone
to the
wants
public.
to join.
We just have staff-only bits.
Yeah.
So if anyone
Yeah.
wants to talk with us and hang out, yeah, we're free.
Our Discord server, the link to the Discord server is underneath pretty much every video. Probably should have put it underneath.
Is it in the description of the? It's not in the description of the live stream.
Nope, I kind of wrote that one last minute.
Yeah,
Wait.
we had to find a thumbnail and write a description in like the 5 minutes before we started.
But yeah, so basically, real quick, so this is a short story that I wrote that I released at the same time with the trailer. So there were several reasons why I did that. One, because we're not actually sure how we're going to be telling Pitch's story. I mean, we've been hinting so much at the wider story here, and there is a wider story, and it's big, and there's a lot of characters, and there's a lot of character arcs, and battles, and just dramatic shit happening, dark shit happening. And, we have enough stuff for a full series here. We have 9 volumes worth of story here. And, of course, this is a fan project, we would like to make a full animated series. It's almost definitely not going to happen. We'd need, at this point, I need to pitch it to a studio, and we need to acquire the rights to Ruby because, we can't make this. We can't make this forever just without just ourselves, without a full production team. So for now, we're just making the trailers, and then we'll see how we can tell the story. And our last resort would be just writing them out as a fan fiction on AO3. Now, probably not that many people would read that unless they really get into the story just from the trailers, which I'm trying to do. I'm really trying to make the trailers so they're not just nice to look at, but they really make you want to see more of these characters. So, but
yes,
yeah,
Archive, 9 volumes. We have to keep stopping ourselves from splitting one of them in 2.
We've done
So
that.
unlike Ruby, we actually have 9 volumes where we know what is going to happen before we start making them.
Yeah, I've been writing outlines for them. I'm on volume 4. I'm stuck on volume 4. But it's still really detailed outlines. So if we make a change, if we make a small change in volume 2, we know exactly how it'll affect everything up to volume 9. But yeah, basically, but with this, we kind of want to gauge interest in just in writing out pitch on AO3. So I'll be releasing short stories with every trailer that kind of expand on the characters just to see if people are reading them. And also because there's just so much side shit in pitch that we just don't have time to cover in the main story. Just character backstories and character relationships and dynamics and depth that we can't put in everything. That we were just we can. Why not just make an anthology series where we just kind of, you don't have to read it. It's not mandatory at all. It will you'll understand the characters better. You'll probably be a little more invested in them, and you'll just have more context for why they do the things they do. But again,
I want to make World of Remnants at some point because I love lore.
Yeah, there's just so much expanded lore.
I'm slowly writing a history of the Great War.
Yeah,
and I have 3,000 years of history planned out for Remnant.
Yeah, most of it's not actually gonna feature in pitch.
No,
It's just-
most of it isn't actually talked about in pitch at all. It's just stuff I added to my backstory because I enjoy it.
Okay. So again, the link to this is on thingy, on the Steel trailer.
On the trailer.
The,
It's in a pinned comment, I believe.
Yeah, it's a ping on both for this in the casting call, and yeah, so this is basically follows Canaria and Pidge after the trailer as they basically it develops their dynamic more, develops their relationship, and it kind of, especially when it comes to Pidge's character. Pidge is a very there's a lot going on. He's a pretty damn complex character, and there's a lot to him, and the trailer only really shows one side of him, the best side of him, but there's, and this story kind of gives you a little glimpses into the wider, his wider characterization, and that then will just kind of bridge the gap to when we really dive into his character in Volume 1. I really like Pitch. I really like how he turned out. Actually, that's another thing. Because we've been developing these characters for over 5 years now, they are, at least I like to think that they are quite deep at this point. There's a lot to them. No, it's hard to tell because as a writer, you will always love your characters way more than others do. So it's to you the characters always seem really deep, even if they're not. So I kind of, I both have to trust my writer intuition that yes, the characters are deep, and also, the people who have read the scripts, not many people actually did, but the ones that did seem to really think that the characters are really interesting, and that there's, that they're interesting, and that there's depth to them. So I'm really, really excited for you guys to see all of that. We really want to go all in on the storytelling with this. Honestly, I'm a storyteller first and foremost. I'm a storyteller more than I am a writer. Oh, I just realized the YouTube thing is still. I'm a storyteller more than I am an animator or a filmmaker or anything else. So everything that happens here, in Pitch, or everything that we show, it's all about the story. Right. Dren, do you want to tell about the constellations thing?
You generally sell it better, but fine. Guy wanted, for something that he's writing for a early draft of Volume 2, he wanted a scene where two characters basically just look up at some constellations for a reason. They sort of point out individual ones, and there is a reason for it. And so he told me to come up with a couple of just constellation names. And then about 15 minutes later, I sent him, I think it was 7 different constellations with names, where they got those names from, their cultural significance to the people who named them, and the current situation of Remnant, and if they had previous names in history, what they used to be called.
Yeah, so there's Pitch is full of that.
I just enjoy doing this stuff. It's what I do for fun.
Yeah.
I've made a fake language for part of Remnant at one point. As I said, I have 3,000 years of history in a Google sheet.
Also, we're playing. Hang on. Let's go back to Discord to actually showing our faces.
Man, these guys are crazy when it comes to writing stuff. I always see almost every single day or every single day of the week, it's always appearing like a notification in their writing tab in Discord. It's always white for me. It's never black or something like black when you read it, because there's always something new with them, which is great.
Yeah, we're always bouncing around ideas and expanding characters, and heck, there is.
Expanding characters is a problem of ours.
Yeah, we have such a tendency to introduce minor characters and then making them really important, and just suddenly making them. I mean, the character Dawn was she was initially meant to be a minor character.
Don't say too much.
I'm not going to spoil too much. I'm going to say very little. And basically, she was supposed to be just have a random role in Volume 1 and disappear forever. And then we just had more ideas and ideas and ideas, and now she's one of the main villains, and it's really important.
Yes, they're all. Speaking of villains, they're also really bad at making villains just straight up assholes. They have to have some kind of super deep and just backstory that makes you feel for them.
Yeah. Yeah, most of them. We have a couple villains that are just kind of assholes, but even the just pure asshole villains still have depth because we can't stop ourselves. We just
What an asshole!
But yeah, most of our villains are of the sympathetic villain variety, at least to some extent. And but honestly, I like that type of villain. I really enjoyed him. I know a lot of people are kind of getting a little bit sick of them, because I think especially because in many modern movies, especially Marvel movies, they try to have bad guys who I don't know, they're really evil, but sometimes they say things about their sad backstory, and so so we're meant to feel for them. And I have a bit of a mixed feelings about some of these villains, but all I can say is I'm trying really hard to make the villains, interesting and sympathetic, but without just it feeling like we're trying to excuse what they're doing or we're trying to I don't know, cheat, I guess. We're trying to cheat by making the
Right.
audience feel for them just by giving them sad backstory. Like, we're trying to make sure that there's a point to their character and to everything they do. And hi V.
Yeah.
Uh, no, I think honestly though, the face reveal. Dren already did the face reveal, by the way. That emoji is his actual face.
It is
Yeah,
how I
I
look
can
most of the
guarantee that.
time.
uh, but,
If you want a picture of him, I have a picture of him right here. He looks just like this.
Also, sorry. I like to look at the chat again. Yeah.
9
What was it?
volumes. Oh, jeez.
Okay, Kiri Tune Shader. We will need to look into this. I have not heard of this before. Um, uh, what was procedural texture generation? We use that actually. We use that for the snow. We use it for the buildings. Honestly, all the VFX, like most of the VFX and the sky, and so even the moon, like it's all procedural textures. It's just on the characters themselves that doesn't work. So we're having to do texture painting on the characters. Um,
I created my own shader from just jamming together like 6 different tutorials.
9 volumes.
We were, the amount of freaking out that Guy did when I managed to get lighting colors affecting the Toon shader was amazing.
Yes, that turned out so well. I'm so glad you managed to do that. 9 volumes in all caps. Yes, it used to be 6. And then we just kept splitting volumes in 2 because they were getting too packed.
And we added a volume to give more explanation.
Yes, there is an entire volume near the end that it's going to be interesting. It's going to be very
Don't
unique.
spoil what it is.
I'm not going to spoil the premise, but it's
We
a
are not
unique.
heading to Wonderland.
No, they're not going to the Ever After. But it's still like actually we had the idea of this volume long before Volume 9 actually came out. So it is like a unique thing that a new villain that will change the story, and I think will make it better. When you take these sort of creative risks, there's always a chance that people won't like it. But again, trusting my writer sensibilities, and I think people will like it. But it's gonna be a long time till we get there. A long time. So yeah, I'm very curious on what your outlines look like. I mean, they are just basically it's just a document where like chapter 1, then rundown of what happens, chapter 2, rundown of what happens. So it is like chapter by chapter. So it is very detailed in that sense. Almost scene by scene, really. So it almost describes every single scene that happens, almost. So yeah, they are, again, we really want it to be detailed because part of it is, for example, because of Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood was a big inspiration, and that it tells a really long story, really tightly packed, where it feels like everything was written in detail from the get-go, right? It's just once it feels like one consistent story. It doesn't seem like they were at any point the writer was just kind of writing by the seat of her pants or just suddenly coming up with new ideas. And then we compare that to Ruby, where it feels I actually from what I've seen from interviews with the writers, I know for a fact that they don't really do much planning on the volume until they get there and they start actually writing it. And that obviously results in a lot of problems, and we want to avoid that. So we really want to have the entire story figured out from the get-go. And so once we're actually writing the scripts, obviously it'll still change as we write the scripts for each individual volume, but then if we know the full story, we can change it. We know what we're doing when we change something. We know how it'll affect everything else. So hopefully this will result in a 9 volumes long like a very long but very coherent story with like one single through line, or well, several through lines that all have like a satisfying payoff at the end.
You're lucky that Guy's the one writing this because, as some of you, if you've looked at the short story, you'll see that I have actually an AO3 account, and I write by the seat of my pants most of the time, and I terrify Guy with how I'll write something random and then loop it into my lore, and it becomes really important.
Yeah, yeah, you're
Suddenly, I
scared.
say,
You're
I've created this new eldritch entity and this new thing that Sean goes to, but it's now essential to my plot and weaves into everything, and it has meaning. And Guy's just like, what is
your
this
your
witchcraft?
your tactics confuse and frighten me, sir.
Yes.
uh, then the next one, like the short story is actually a little dark, but the wording is unique and it's making me hard to understand because I'm small brain. I mean, honestly, it might be on me. Because again, I'm English is my third language. I am originally Portuguese, but grew up in Germany, so I obviously my English I can speak and understand English just fine. I can write it just fine.
And I use big words and unique ways of laying them out
Yeah, this
anyway,
thing
so I
like
wouldn't have noticed it being different when I look through.
yeah, and sometimes yeah, my writing is still like I have a little bit of trouble telling the difference between what is what's meant what is like more academic language and what's colloquial language, I guess, because when you learn a new language, usually you're learning all the big words. So that, by the way, makes me sound really pretentious sometimes when I speak English, even though that's just how I learned it, how I learned to speak English. But yeah, also I had to write a short story from the perspective of a 10-year-old, and that was hard. I don't know if I succeeded because I had to write how a kid interprets things and how a kid sees the world. So I tried to have like really simplistic language there that I wouldn't really use, but that again that I don't think I succeeded at all points. Sometimes like the narration goes a bit back and forth between being very childlike and simplistic, and then suddenly just gets all literary. Um, could have been better. um, what else? I mean, yeah, yeah. 9 volumes is extremely ambitious. How long do you plan to make each episode? So currently, each volume is going to have 12 episodes of 15 minutes each.
So yeah, it is extremely ambitious. That's why we're not sure if we're actually going to be able to animate. We want to,
we really want to like
but
other things that we're considering is making it like an visual audiobook, kind of like Edelweiss. Could make
possibly some animated fight scenes when we get to those.
yeah, we'd probably still be doing like we'll still be animating certain moments in full, kind of like the trailers as time goes on. But again, all of that would still, even something like a podcast or an audiobook, would still be extremely ambitious. And also, the visuals are one of our favorite parts of Pitch. Like, we put a lot of effort into the art direction and making sure things look nice and interesting. I mean, you noticed that in the Seal trailer. That was one of the big things that we focused on. And so, I'd hate to lose out on that aspect of it. Like I'd hate to lose out on the visuals and the animation, like the fight scenes as well. I mean, fight scenes are obviously one of my favorite things ever. I love them so much, and I really want there to be big, badass fight scenes for the important moments in the story. And
But we are aware of how overambitious this is.
oh, this used to be way more ambitious. The first draft had like 20 episodes per volume, 20 minutes per episode, and yeah. By the way, we lost Luca again, I think. But yeah, basically, yeah, we had to massively scale it down, and we simplify a lot of things, which I really hate. But like I tried really hard to keep the story, to keep as much nuance and as much depth as I possibly could, even in the new versions of the scripts, and just condense everything way down without ruining the pacing. Writing is hard, you guys. Like, if it seems really easy because everyone writes in a way, you all and so it seems like it should be easy, and you'd think it would be, but actually writing good stories, it's just there's so much more to it than you'd think, and just there's so much to it. In a way, I love that because it just means there's so much to learn. But it still makes it if you have a really long season and then you want to condense it into something reasonable without just making it into an abridged thing that just speeds run everything. Without making it into the live action Lost Airbender movie that just kind of speeds run all the plot with and just doesn't take the time to make any of it good. That's hard. Could use an AI. Oh, I don't. First, I don't think AI can do that at this point. And also, honestly, I'm going to when it comes to using AI. We've been using a little bit of AI to do concept art for the stage, which apparently is commonly accepted as being a very ethical use. But there's a big discourse on AI going on, and I'm going to wait for people to reach a consensus, for people to find out more about how this works, and for people to think this through a little more before we start planning on using it any majorly in the shows. Because I've heard good arguments from both sides. I've heard good arguments about people in favor of using AI, and good arguments from people who are against it. Personally, I find it really exciting, but also there are ethical concerns, and so we're taking a step back for now.
Yeah.
Well, we'll probably still be
Clara,
using it for concept art.
The reason why the story was put on AO3 is because I already had an AO3 account and I knew how it worked. Is the main reason.
Yeah. Is there any other platforms? Oh, right. Yeah, that's the thing. We might. I'm thinking if we should put it on other platforms like Wattpad or something, but I'm not sure if spreading out the story would give it a bigger audience, or if it would just, or I don't know if it would help or make it worse. So we definitely want as many people as possible to read, the story, or to just see the story, no matter however we end up doing this. Yeah, and so far we do hope that our trailers will eventually blow up amongst the Ruby fandom, because I really want people to see what we made. Yeah, the comic will probably be going on Webtoon. Yeah, I think. Luca knows more about this than I do.
Yeah.
As soon as you say that, he appears.
Yeah. So Luca, you're back. And he's frozen again. Fuck.
This is why Luca's internet is annoying.
Also, I just realized. Sorry, we swear a lot. I hope that's okay.
We do it just in normal conversation with each other.
Yeah.
I literally spent. There was a conversation Guy and I had last night where I just insulted him for 20 minutes.
That's just our normal conversation, though. Luca's doing the pose again. Just our normal conversations are just geeking out over pitch stuff or insults.
Or stupid meme.
Yeah.
Oh yes, and before anyone got to it, we decided, because I one of the things that, how Ruby has its shipping culture.
Yes.
I'm not particularly into it, but I like the names that are come up with for them. So literally, we hadn't even written the first volume scripts yet, the first drafts, where we literally started coming up with ship names just based on combining bits of personality and look and stuff like that.
We have a shipping chart. We can't share it because it's spoilery, but we have a shipping chart.
Yep.
Yeah. Honestly, in the last few years, I've actually been getting into shipping quite a bit more, but I'm still. I don't know. I still focus a lot more on the story than I do on the shipping. It's if I see a really good pairing, I can ship them, but usually I don't do it that much. There's definitely very little. There's definitely very little shipping stuff that's going to be going on in Page. You guys are free to ship the hell out of these characters. Fucking go for it. But most of it is not going to be canon. Okay, just by nature, because of how many ships there always are, most of them won't be canon to begin with. It's just, that's not what we're going to be focusing on. There's going to be a couple. Just a couple ships are going to happen.
Luca's internet is bad, Clara,
yeah.
so he just freezes at times.
Yeah. Yeah. Yes. Okay, Luke, I think you're working it. It's working. But yeah, no. So there's just a couple ships are gonna a couple ships are gonna become canon, but most won't. Most characters will have way more shit to worry about than romance.
I can't relate romance.
Yeah, I'm still at it. Plot with small girl is rocking a harem. Can't confirm or deny that.
For all we know, she may end up with one. That's what the sequel to Pitch is going to be. Just an area forming a harem in the world.
The adventures of Lapis Tyrius and her harem.
Wait, are you talking about Lapis or are you talking about Canaria?
Oh God, yeah, it better be Lapis. Canarius 10.
Now she is. She won't be by the time we do that if we did it.
She's gonna be 12. Oh wait, after
yeah.
Pitch, right? No, like
Yeah, after Pitch.
the Pitch sequel. Yes, then yes.
Lapis doesn't really have an interest in that. She's got a very strange way of looking at the world
Yeah, very fun one.
for reasons.
Yes, she has. That's the thing. She's probably not.
She
Yeah,
is
what he said.
wholesome,
She is very wholesome and scary.
and she has a bird,
She has a bird.
where the canonical name of the bird is literally Burb.
Oh, okay. We're revealing that. We're revealing that now. All right.
Yes, we are. Doesn't matter.
Yes. Oh,
She has a
Luca.
bird. It is called Burb.
Luca, you're back. No,
Come back.
that's not
Come
happening.
down.
No,
Dylan.
Dylan, no.
No.
There is at least one character I can think of off the top of my head where that would apply, but she
Oh.
doesn't appear for ages.
Oh God. Wait. Who are we talking about?
I'll put it in voice text, and you can choose whether you want to show it to him.
No. Wait. Use the description. Use one of the descriptions. I can't search with voice text. I can't.
Tall.
Got it. We found like interesting ways to refer to our characters when we don't want to spoil who they are or aspect of them. So when we're talking to other people, so we just like find ways of describing them that says nothing to everyone else but means a lot to us. Yeah, there's a lot of characters in Pitch, by the way. Just we have like how many designs do we have total for characters?
I'll look at the height chart I made.
Yeah.
I didn't start off as being a character designer, but I sort of started drawing, and I have become our main character designer. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9,
Write
10,
that down. Write that down.
11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28,
Those are
29,
numbers.
30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39,
Oh God. it's
40,
more than
41,
I remember.
42, 43, 44, 45 that have designs on here, and I know that I have a couple that are not
So like
actually on here yet.
46 or 47 characters total that all have designs. Some of them are really minor. Some of them like are only going to show up in groups. So it's not going to be of. We're hoping
Yeah,
not to.
I hadn't put
Yes, red.
hadn't put Dead Mum on here.
Okay, dead mom. Dead mom.
What?
Okay, got it.
Okay,
Got
which
it.
Dead Mum?
Got it. That's the thing. There's a lot of them. But yeah, there's
my Dead Mum is a thing in action shows.
Yeah, we are very guilty of that. But yeah, so we have a lot of characters. Again, some of them will be mostly background characters. A lot of them will be important. There's a reason we have 9
Luca is
volumes.
just staring into our soul on the Discord.
Yes. Yeah. Like there's a reason that there's 9 volumes. There's a lot of characters with their own arcs and backstories and their own stuff. And we are really worried because Ruby does that, and things have been, in volume 8, things got really messy with just how many characters that they had. Like they were trying to have make every character shine, so barely anyone got to. And but then there's shows like Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood and Attack on Titan that have a massive cast where sometimes there's just going to be an entire episode that's suddenly dedicated to random background character number 3. And it works somehow. And so we really want it to be more like Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood and Attack on Titan and less like Ruby, which is the show that Pitch is actually based on. We have really complicated feelings about Ruby, honestly. Oh God, Lucas, just actually staring into our souls.
Yeah.
I've been trying to connect for 10, 20 minutes.
Yeah.
Like, all those characters I went through have at least names. There are a couple that don't do that much, but most of them have at least some degree of story, even if it's just like 2 scenes in a visual novel style of story.
Hi.
Who have we got?
Creation Lizard.
Oh, you're here. We are live.
Yeah, we're currently streaming on YouTube.
Yeah.
So feel free to speak if you want, but your voice will be broadcast to 6 people.
Yes.
Hey, we had 8 previously.
Oh,
Lizard
Archive
is
knows
now
him.
in with us. I can't remember how much he said he was going to help. He said he was going to help with some stuff.
I think currently the plan is for him to animate like about 1 minute of action for the master trailer. Though again, with that might changes.
Yeah, those of you who don't know, he has made his own animations, which for Ruby fan stuff, which are pretty good.
Yeah, definitely. I could look up if you don't.
Understating it.
Yeah, if you I don't remember what the team name was, but look up a Croatian Lizard on YouTube. There's like just the most recent fan trailer. It just has a just fantastic. Yeah, that's the one team. I don't actually know how to pronounce that. KRMZ. It just has a fantastic trailer with just fantastic fight choreography, and I can't believe that he is helping us out with the mass trailer because like you are such a good animator, just so good. So I'm another reason why I'm so excited for the mask trailer. We have this is another thing. I mentioned this early on. We have 8 viewers now. And like we have professional fight choreographer who offered to help us out with like design the action of the mask trailer, which is good because like that one, the fight there is again very story driven. So there's a lot of setups and payoffs and just a lot of story stuff, and there's character stuff just going on in the choreography. So I'm really glad that we have a professional who's actually helping us with that. And Luca is gone again. Oh, this stream is sponsored by.
I've been holding that pose for 5 minutes.
I didn't see the pose.
We only saw the tail end of it, and he's gone again. Yeah. Sorry, real quick back to the characters, like the amount of characters. There's actually the most recent character that Dren has designed. I almost slipped up and said your real name. The most recent character that Dren has designed. We're trying so hard not to make them a main character again. We're just like, nope, they're background character. They just exist to fulfill a minor role and then fuck off. But we know that never ends up going that way. But just straight up, we don't have time for it.
And suddenly Gay loves them.
Yeah, we don't have time. We can't. This story is already like another reason why I'm doing outlines is because the story is so packed that I need to make sure that it even works. I need to make sure that we can tell this story within the screen time that we have. I can't add yet another character to this. Oh, you guys are watching me have a meltdown on live stream. But I've had this sort of meltdown a lot. Oh, now we are seeing Luca's pants.
Wait, what?
He's standing there. Menacingly.
Standing here, we realize.
I'm just being the comic relief because I really can't say anything because my internet keeps dying.
Right now we're hearing you. Right now you're good.
Oh, not in a few minutes.
No. He's gone again. I think Luca needs to shoot his internet provider.
Immediately. See, I only ever plan to make trailers in like 4 episodes and call it done. You are a smarter person than us. You are far smarter than we are. Thank you. We will need it.
Do you have anything more than luck to give us? Because that would really... No, don't worry.
Yeah, if any studio executive just so happens to be watching this, and we are
give us a small loan of $1 million.
Yeah, we could be convinced to make this series for you with all the money that you'd have to throw at us. Oh, we could pitch it. So you have a show so you have a Ruby spin-off for me? Yes, sir, I do. I don't think most people will get this. I hope people get this one actually. Because pitch meetings are great. Yes, pitch. Yay, you get this. Luke is just dying.
I mean, that's normal.
Right. Okay, while we're at it, pitch in a pitch meeting. um, but yeah. Oh yeah, our future plans.
Luca's just standing there menacingly again, at least on the stream for me.
Oh, not for me. Now he's just dead. But yeah, so real quick to, I think, go over the future plans that we didn't already. So we're hoping that the mass trailer will come out in about a year. Again, we have quite a few people helping out, and we are making good progress, so we should be able to like have a much faster turnover rate than with the Steel trailer. And then we're hoping to have like 1 or 2 years between each trailer, and there's gonna be 5 total. So one it was pitched. The second one's called the Mask trailer. It's gonna be about Han and Tanger. The third one's called the Claw trailer, which is going to be Carmine and Guild. Fourth one, don't have a name for it yet. It's about Lapis and Trite. And the fifth is called the Ink trailer, which is about Ivory. And yeah, again, we have scripts for most of them. We have plans. We have the story all figured out, except for Lapis and Trite, their trailer. I have an idea of what I want it to be, but we've reworked it quite a bit. Like the vibe wasn't working, the tone wasn't working, so we're trying to, we've been trying to figure out how to get it to work. Funnily enough, it's also one trailer that we don't have a song for yet. Yeah, we have a song for all the other trailers if you want to check. Like the Mask trailer is the only ones. The Claw trailer is Run the Night, and the Ink trailer is my personal favorite, Fade, which I am in love with that
Fade
song.
is good.
And Luca is now sleeping, and he's gone. But, yeah. So, what else?
We had good luck to work with a pretty good singer for a while. That's why we had the songs.
Yeah, God, she was so good. Yeah, sadly she left. But
yeah.
What else? Oh, he's returning. Trying to think if there's any more plans that. Are you high?
I'm dying.
No, he's low.
Oh no, you should have. You could have done the reference. Like, wait, let me check. Yes.
Maybe.
He's high on Jesus.
Right. So, what else? So yeah, we have the Steel trailer. We'll be making a comic. We have the casting call, which again we encourage you guys to
have a look at.
Yeah, to have a look at.
Yes, please lessen my roles.
Also, like anyone who wants to wants to get invested in the story, and anyone who wants to find out more, piece together things about the characters ahead of time. It's there. There are things there. If you put everything that we've released so far, the trailer, the short story, the casting call, if you put everything together, I mean, okay, no, you won't find many connections between Tanger and Pitch, but still, like if you are interested in learning more about if you are interested in trying to piece together what the story is and what the characters are and all of that, again, there is stuff there. We have plans. We have it's there. You just have to find it.
I left all my treasure in one place.
Yeah, and also I'm really curious.
You just have to find it.
Yeah, I really hope at some point also people start looking at the trailer quotes, because like every single one of the trailer quotes, we're putting a lot of work into those, and we really want them to be meaningful, and to say interact with the story in some ways. I hope at some point people look at the Steel trailer quote and want to theorize about what that means. Oh yeah, also there's the thingy, what's it? Right, aura unlock speech, and the start of the short story. So one piece of fanon that we went with, as you guys know, the speech that Pyrrha says when she unlocks John's aura. There's this fan interpretation that every character has a speech that they use.
My fan interpretation. Yeah. But yes.
I think. Wait, were you the one who came up with it? I think that's a thing. And all right, awesome. Then
at least I came up with. I think I was.
Also, sorry, someone just rang the doorbell. I need to go. I need to take that. I think.
Right.
Wait, no.
I will hunt this down and I will read out pictures to you.
Never mind. No one else is going. Sorry. I mean, someone else is taking that. But Right, where was I? Right, so we basically gave each of our characters their own custom aura unlock speeches. And Pitches is at the start of the short story, the My Hero one. And
Can I read it out?
yeah, go for it.
For it is through justice that we restrain ourselves. In this we surpass our nature and transcend the sum of our parts. Fueled by indignation, yet tempered by abstention, I arm your soul, and by my own hands rebuild thee.
Yeah. Honestly, in between that, the short story, and the trailer, there is a lot of like you guys can piece a lot of it together if you know if basically if you manage to do it. Like it's
What can we tell you about villains cross up?
Whew.
Not very much.
There's a
There
lot
are
of them.
a lot of them
There's a lot of them.
with their own differing agendas because there's a lot of grey in Pitch.
Mm-hmm. Like we
With
deal.
people with
Sorry.
yeah.
Sorry, go. Cut you off.
So there's a lot of people with sort of different motivations who are villains to other people.
There's
How
a bunch
many
of-
actual
yeah.
dedicated villains are there in our lineup?
Oh boy. So like
I'm
okay,
really
this thing
going through.
there's some also there's some characters like they are villains for the most part, but they kind of slide in and out of it a little bit. Like there's obviously characters that become villains, there's characters that stop being villains, and then there's characters that are just in this murky gray area where you're not sure what they are. Well, I imagine people will have different opinions, which is what I want.
Okay, yeah, 10 of the lineup characters are just in out and out villains.
Awesome. Yeah. And again, there are multiple factions at play as well. It's the thing, this page is a very complex
By
and sprawling
villains, we don't mean like how in Ruby where there's just like there's Salem's group and like villain of the week like Ironwood. These are different factions which have their own ways of interacting with each other, who are only really villains, some of them, by dint of the fact they're opposing the main characters and their methods.
Yeah. Yeah, which would technically make them more antagonists than villains, but I'm sorry, I'm pedantic like that. But yeah, no, there's multiple factions, and they all interact with each other in really interesting ways. Like, technically...
And we
I-
go for the early Disney 2D animation, 2D film thing of the villains being very much the most interesting part.
Yeah, and this is... So I think I can say this one. There are technically 2 to 3 main villain factions. There isn't like a single main villain faction.
Think
Which
of there's 3.
there's technically like there's 2 main ones and 3 main ones. It's like and so there's like not a single there's not a single main villain for most of it, and that again it's a risk. It's a critical like just so you know there is a plan with that. Like it's all going to pay off I think in a very interesting way at the end of the show. And until then, I hope that it's going to be an interesting enough story. But like, I hope it's going to be less I hope it's going to feel less like there's no main villain and more like there are just multiple main villains and multiple main storylines. So it does mean it's not going to be as focused. Like the story isn't going to be as focused. We have steps. We do have certain steps to mitigate that. Actually, I think I can say this one. Each volume, especially early on, is going to feel almost like its own self-contained story. Like, Volume 1 has a story that has a temporary resolution at the end with one group of villains. Volume 2 has its own story that focuses on different members of the main cast that has a different group of villains. And so each volume there is like a contained story that has its own thing and has its own resolution at the end. And then, they all kind of lead into the overarching story, and at the end they all come together in a spectacular way, and I'm so excited to get there. Like, honestly, the final battle of Pitch, if we get there, and if we manage to make it as cool as I'm envisioning it, is going to be fucking fantastic. Not just in from an action perspective, but from a story perspective, and character arcs, and villains, and just... I really hope we get there. I really, really hope we get there.
So, Violet, I'm not going to reveal what any of the weapons are till we get to them. But in terms of characters having oversized weapons, there's Lapis. She has an oversized weapon.
Still not sure about that one. That's gonna be
Still not sure.
difficult.
We might shrink that one down a little bit. And then there's the fact that on anyone else, Trite's weapon would be very, very oversized.
But also he big. So
He big. He very big. Outside of that, is anyone with particularly outsized weapons?
characters, most of their weapons are quite small, I think.
Yeah, not along here, not along here. Burnham has a big hammer,
Yeah.
but he's buff.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. So there's no like.
I've said a name now, but like he doesn't. There's just a name.
Yeah. All the characters with the big What? Wait. So right. So sorry. I just saw a notification. Rising said he ghost wrote Ruby Volume 9. Huh. I'm gonna have to check that video out after the stream. But where were we? Right. Yeah. I don't think like we. In Pidge, we do take character strength and build a little more into account than Ruby does, and we are toning rule of cooldown
Okay.
just a little bit.
Dead
And
Dad had an outsized weapon.
oh, he did. Living Dad has one that like Living Dad's
Liv-
weapon can give you.
Living Dad
like,
has an outsized weapon in a different way.
Yeah, yes. So yeah, no, I'd say Living Dad has a.
Oh,
I think
and Yaha Fiddly Dee may end up with an anchor as well. I'm not sure.
Yeah, Fiddly. I don't think you ever called him that before.
I haven't.
He's one of the best characters.
But you got who I was talking about.
I know who you were talking about. Again, he's one of the best characters.
You know, one of the videos we're gonna have to post after this is just a compilation of all of Luca's funny freeze frames.
Yes. Oh yeah, that's the other thing. We'll be posting a few shorts with like snippets from this live stream in the next few days. Both just basically for people who missed the live stream, if we want to give them a little bit of nuggets of information, and also because it boosts the algorithm. We're trying to get the algorithm to notice us. Notice me, senpai.
A lot of characters, even if they don't have oversized weapons, have ones that are designed to be used in fairly interesting ways. My favorite one for that is probably how to say him, Ice Giant. Do you get what I'm talking about with that?
I'm not sure.
Think of the big characters.
Right, Ice Giant. Oh, is it Right, I think I know who you mean.
Yeah, I love how the idea for his weapon.
Right. Yeah, I know when it comes to creative weapons. Yes, definitely. I know who you mean. Yes, he's great.
Like whenever I've created a weapon, I've tried to make it interesting, unless some of them just have fairly basic weapons, but that's because that's a character thing.
Oh, we can't hear you? There's no sound?
What?
Oh no, I was doing that on purpose.
Oh,
I thought you guys were
fuck off!
looking at YouTube.
By the way, sorry, we have been talking so much. If there's anything you wanna, butt in with, feel free. I don't just want you to.
I got nothing, to be honest. I'm having fun with my internet disconnecting to the point where there's probably enough videos or photos for a whole compilation of me just disconnecting.
So if you have a new subscriber.
We said we would do that.
Yeah. Someone just subscribed.
Oh,
yes! Subscribe some more!
Yeah, thanks so much.
It boosts my internet.
Subscribbles.
So yeah, do you
The
guys
more
have...
people that subscribe, they'll boost my internet. Then I can finally talk.
Yeah.
So subscribe, people.
So, anyone else have any other questions?
Is there anything that you want to address about the characters while we're on here that we can address?
Oh. Also, actually, if you want to talk about, for example, the Leo versus Crow video, which is for some reason still our most watched video, even though it was rushed to hell and back. So if any of you want to ask about that, or ask more about questions about the story or characters. Nah, screw the potato chip. Buy this man some better Wi-Fi.
That's more expensive.
Yeah.
Here's the fun fact. When I was uploading the damn Steel trailer, which was like almost a gigabyte's worth, I was uploading that with 2 kilobytes of Wi-Fi. Beat that.
Okay, let's do Violet's question first. Of the main 8,
2.
There are 1, 2, kind of, 3, 4. I love that one. I think there's 4 of them have major weapon transformations. 2 of them have minor weapon transformations. You then got Pitch, and who's the one I missed?
I don't know which one. I don't know
So
which ones you were talking about. So there's pitch.
is
There's
it okay
pitch.
to say which ones have transforming weapons?
I'd say so. It's like so pitch,
So
kind of like Tanger has the most
Tango
elaborate
definitely
transformation.
does. That we've
Carmine,
made so far.
like every weapon has some degree of transformation is the thing. Like no weapon is completely static. It's with some of them the transformation is very simple.
Hans is the closest to being static because of his personality, but
Yes.
he does have some tricks up his sleeve.
It's definitely yeah, he still does. Gotta love Han. And then Ivory's has a fairly simple one.
Ivory's has a transformation, yeah. It's not a
Gilt's
big
does.
transformation, but it is one. Gilt's has a fairly major one.
And
Lapis is going to have one, and then Trite, kind of.
Yeah, just generally like, with a lot of our weapons in general, like they are transforming technically, but not a lot.
Thing is, it's very difficult to come up with the transformations. Tangos, I wrote on a post-it note when I was in a lecture, and I managed to make a transformation that worked in about 30 minutes. And that never happened again.
Yeah. Right. Lizard, favorite volume and division so far? That's an excellent question.
It's the special volume, I think.
I think in my case it's also the special volume. Volume 7 in the current plan. So the third to last volume will be again, special volume where we take a big creative risk that will either make the story way better or make people go, what the fuck is going on? Other than that, I really like volume 2.
Yeah, the ideas for volume 2.
So volume 2 is a very again, it's a very tightly packed story.
Volume 2 is where the story of Pitch really comes into its own.
Yes.
Volume 1 is a bit setting the scene and establishing what's going on, and then volume 2 is where we run off the rails.
Yeah. And this is the problem with me as a writer, and this is why, I pitch as I'm so worried that, I really like to make the pitch series. I'm not very good at beginning stories. The setup is the part that I know I need to set things up, but I'm not great at making them interesting. What I'm good at is paying stories off. Once the characters are already established, once the world, the setting, just the conflicts, once all of that's already going, and once the viewers are already invested in the characters, then I can do some really fun stuff. And people who read my stuff, like, they always agree that the later episodes are always the better ones. So I guess my method of writing is like the snowball effect. Kind of Arcane does it, obviously way better than me, but it's like you start with very little, and then but then the more you learn more about the characters and you build more investment, and there's more character development, and so the snowball grows bigger and bigger, and then that's development and leads into more developments, and then it becomes more interesting. So basically, the more stuff I have to work with, the better I am at writing. So volume 1 is always going to be, it's probably going to be at least a little janky. It's not going to be as impactful as it could be, but volume 2 onwards, then at that point everything will be ready to go, and that's when I can really shine as a writer.
It still has Best Worst Girl in it, though. Volume 1.
Best Worst Girl? Oh! Don't you dare call her that! I do not want her to be Best Girl. Also, she's not. Tango is Best Girl.
Tango is Best Girl. Actually,
or Ivory.
Or Lapis. One of the three. They're all good.
That's the three main girls, though. Like, you can't just go, oh, it's either Tango or Ivory or Lapis, because there are no other options in the main cast.
Best Girl.
Come on, you guys. The best girl has to be Han.
Best girl is Noir.
Yeah. I know. I'm going to need to overhaul her character a little bit. She's a little bit, like, in the current script, she's a little bit gimmicky, and there's not that much to her. I'm gonna add more stuff to her in the next draft. But yeah.
Also, Han can't be a girl. He's too much of a dick.
Oh yeah, that's another thing. A lot of our characters have a tendency to be dicks.
That's because we're dicks.
Yeah, no, it's just generally
they
like
dicks.
It's just really. All right, Luca. Okay, it really depends.
Luca projecting over here.
I know, like, a lot of people, like, asshole characters can be a little bit hit or miss with people. So again, just keep in mind, like if you're watching the show and characters are being dicks, trust us. It's all part of the plan. It's all part of the plan.
Trust in me.
Because we really like writing flawed characters, like really flawed characters, and yeah, that's the thing. There's not a whole lot of characters in Pitch that can be just called unambiguously good people. There's a few, but
I can think of
no.
two, possibly three.
I can think of three. Out of the top four. 5. Which still isn't
6.
that much. But God, there was another thing that I wanted to say. Oh yeah, what is everyone's favorite characters out of the main 8?
Just off
Luca
design, because
yeah.
I don't know them. You don't know them yet.
Well, oh yeah, no, actually, I was going to. Oh, I meant you and Luca. But yeah, actually, with everyone else, based on actually, wait, do you still have the pitch and guilds? Hang on, I'll try and put that on the screen. Give me a second.
Who's our favorite what?
8.
Yeah. In your case, obviously based off of personality as well.
I'd have to say, actually, it's either Ivory or Han.
Okay. Marcus, hang on. Let me just. Okay, here we go. I'll add another source.
My favorite character design you haven't seen yet is one of mine, and I made it quite a bit later than all the others. I think it's one of my more recent ones.
Where is it? 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 Photos. There we go. Is this currently? This isn't currently streaming. Come on, please. Okay.
My hair is getting all over my face.
Actually, hang on. I'll post this in voice text, and then I'll just open it. Or wait. Yeah, guys, give me just a sec. I'm bringing up a picture of the main cast so you guys can actually all look at them.
Yes, in this meantime, I'd like to take this opportunity to talk about Raid Shadow Legends, our sponsor for today's.
Hey,
Jalen, thanks for coming.
Bye. Thanks.
But we couldn't have done it without Squarespace. Using our code Combat Ready Studios, you can get 0% off your first purchase.
Just straight up
Please, one of you, sponsor us. We don't care which. Please.
We need that money.
I can guess.
Please buy me better internet.
Hang on. I'll just post this in voice text. And God,
we need to pay to ship Luka
oh
over
God,
to the
there's
UK
so much in
the
voice.
box.
There's so much in voice text. Oh yeah, God.
Why is it on my face in voice text?
Now you guys are all getting a glimpse at all the
Click
channels.
on it and make it larger, and then yeah.
But yeah, so this is right. My favorite characters are. I mean, if I have to pick 3, it's Tanger, Han, and Ivory. Between those 3, if I had to narrow it down to 1, I don't know.
Also, yes, there's a reason. Fight shouldn't be quite that tall compared to everyone else, but yeah, he is tall.
Mm.
And Lapis is a bit too tall compared to everyone else.
Yeah. Hang on.
Proportion, son.
So right. 3 times amazing. Yes.
Said in response to visual trauma.
Yeah. So someone said Lapis is their favorite character based on design. Is anyone else?
Yeah.
What's everyone else?
Yeah, she is definitely the most animated here.
Yeah. I expect Lapis to be a fan favorite. She's the type of character that tends to be a fan favorite.
Also, Luka has the tendency to not draw below people's knees, so having to draw her feet is something a bit different for him.
Hmm.
Never down feet.
The red and yellow guy are brothers. Can we confirm or deny that? I think that's actually in the Claw trailer.
Yeah, we can confirm that those two are brothers.
They're twins.
In fact, should we confirm? Yeah, they're twins.
Ah, shit. Sorry. Sorry, I jumped the gun here.
They are, apart from the hair and sort of what they've done with their training of their body, they're actually identical twins.
Mm-hmm.
So
they were supposed to be like pinpoint accurate, right?
They were supposed to be exactly identical, so that when I modeled one, I only had to model one.
don't really hinting with the same last names at all. Yeah. Yeah, no,
Yeah,
them having the same last names might be a tiny
Carmen and
giveaway.
Gildoker. Oh yeah, Archive, you were struggling with pronouncing some of the names. The twins' last name is ochre. It's a type of sort of dye/pigment that people used to use, made from certain types of mud. Yeah, okay.
So,
I'm not sure how much we
oh
can
yeah.
give on
Also,
Jazz.
real quick, their first names as well. Because a lot of people will probably be pronouncing Carmine as Carmine, but yeah, it's pronounced
Carmine.
Carmine. Which, by the way, we came up with that name before
Carmine Escalatos.
yeah, before the one in
Escalatos.
Afterfall, and we were very pissed about that, but we decided to stick to our guns and just. I guess there are two Carmines in Ruby
We were
now.
too attached to Carmine, and we couldn't exactly swap it out because pitch.
Yeah.
And I didn't like Crimson. It's why we never went for Crimson in the first place.
Yeah. We do have a character called Crim, though.
Yeah, we do.
But yeah, so interesting side character Jazz Cobalt. Yeah, he is.
Shouldn't be.
He's very he's interesting. Especially, I mean, I did the thing where I made him a more interesting character than he was initially meant to be. He was just meant to be an asshole. It's just he's still an asshole. He's actually one of the characters where I managed to make him interesting without making him sympathetic. So he's the type of character, as you learn more about him, it's gonna be like, oh right, that makes sense. But it's still like, it's not a, oh, I'm actually a good person deep down. Probably shouldn't have said that, actually.
No, you sure shouldn't have. So, just to go through all of these 8's names in
I just did
order.
a Tom Holland.
Yeah, we have Pitch Palace, Tangor Capsule, Carmine Oka, Han, who I can't actually pronounce his name properly because it's Chinese.
Yeah.
Zhongshan.
Yeah, closest we got is Jianshan, and if anyone here actually speaks Chinese, they get to tell us a new one.
You know, one of our comic artists, actually is very fluent in Chinese. You could ask her.
Well, we'll have to ask
God,
them.
we're definitely gonna need help then.
Yeah,
like we're gonna need her help.
Because Mistral has this whole Oriental side to it, we have a couple of characters with sort of those sorts of names. Then we've got Gildoka, Ivory Leth, that's her last name, Lapis Tyrius, and Trite Arges.
Yep.
And I am rather fond of Ivory. I just like how she's a bit of a goof.
Oh, Ivory's great. She's a
sort of goof, but she's a bit of a goof.
Yeah. Ivory's the type of character where, actually, just fittingly, I didn't know what I was like. I didn't know what I was doing with her when I was writing her, so I was just kind of went, yeah, I don't know. I just kind of threw her in there and just wrote her out and saw like what sort of, what sort of personality she'd have, and that just resulted in, one of my favorite personalities in Pages. It's very distinct. It's very, I don't know how to describe it. It's very distinct. It's very unique and interesting.
Some of these characters change names early on in development, but they've had these ones for a long time now.
Yeah. God, that's... didn't you at some point gender flip Lapis?
Yeah, I wasn't... Initially, when I created the characters, the only female on the team, because Ivory was the last character I created, the only female on the team was actually Tangor, and I thought
Ivory was the last you created.
And so I swapped Lapis, who was originally called Lazul, over to being female and changed it to Lapis.
Also, I think Ivory, was the last character you made.
Yeah, Ivory was the last I made. Ivory was just known as I for about 3 months.
Yeah, and we did not know what to do with her. And now she's one of my favorite characters, so it all worked out.
Glad you like it.
Don't know what to do.
God, what else? Who else changed? Han actually went, like, his character concept has always been the same, but the vibe he gives off actually changed drastically over time. I much prefer his newer one. Obviously, okay, now this is like, I have to be really vague, so it's just like, none of this is actually going to make any sense.
Be very vague.
It's like the type of stuff that in several years, once more details about these characters have come out, people will go back to this live stream and they'll go like, "Oh, so that's what it meant." Like I earlier, I already like name dropped a thing that's like that's in a few years things will make a lot of sense. um, so yeah, what else? Tanger's personality changed a lot between Dren first coming
If
up with her and me actually writing her, which I'm still actually kind of annoyed by because as much as I love how Tan turned out and as much as I love how her personality turned out, the reason why I initially changed her was because I didn't know how to write the character in the way that Dren intended. Um, Honestly, that happened with a lot of them. Like a lot of characters ended up quite samey early on because I only knew how to write or a couple specific types of characters. And then as I became a better writer and as I branched out, the characters expanded a lot more and like they became a lot more different from one another and they became a lot more unique.
I was going to say something, one of the thing which I can't wait to see get to in pitch, and I'm going to use a code word for this. Hopefully he gets it.
Okay.
Is daybreak.
Oh, that's gonna be one of the last episodes.
Yes.
Like, wait, again, the entire final volume is gonna be a roller coaster. It's not
If
just
we
the
ever
final,
get to it,
not just the final battle itself. It's just again, we are making some very interesting creative choices, which I'm fairly confident will go over well. I'm fairly confident people will like it. Um, it's just again with just the nature of the story, which is the nature of the story, how sprawling it is and how many moving parts it has. We are doing some interesting things in the final volume to bring it all together, and that scene, like I have imagined that, like there are specific scenes that I've imagined in my head over and over again, and they've like been evolving over time as well and becoming more and more interesting. And that one episode, yes, I am so hyped for that. And it's
pipe.
the final volume. Just so many of my favorite scenes, the scenes I'm most looking forward to, are like in the last 3 volumes.
Daybreak.
Ah!
The Board of Governors. You'll probably get that one, Guy. Hopefully.
Yes, the Board of Governors. Hey, you guys be teasing stories left and right. Yes, yes, good. That's.
I'm trying to think of anything else I can give a funny code word to.
Uh. Hmm. Heart.
Yes, that as well. How can I word this one? The
I.
Beast Behind? Maybe you'll get that.
The what? Sorry.
The Beast Behind?
Uh. Oh, okay. I don't know if there's like a scene specifically, because like
That's not seen specifically,
that's a
but it's the
storyline.
yeah.
Oh.
I'm a lore geek. Why do you think I've made all of this stuff? Guy,
Yeah.
just a
What else?
second.
Yeah.
I'm going to put a image in the voice text,
Okay.
and I want you to sort of.
No,
Okay,
careful. Wait. Keep in mind, we are currently streaming voice text. Actually, I'll change the windows.
That's why it's not for pitch itself.
Okay.
Unfortunately, I don't think I can actually zoom out far enough to see it all.
Oh.
I wanted to zoom out so I could send them my sort of timeline of Remnant, but it's too big.
Oh. But yeah, by the way, another thing that I'm really looking for is the Volume 3 finale. Honestly,
Yes.
every Volume finale. That's another thing about me. I love the big final battle at the end of each volume, or just the final fight. Again, I've said this before. I'm a much better writer when I'm paying things off than I am when I'm setting them up. So.
Luca is filming a shampoo commercial in the corner.
But yeah, so basically, the the beginning of the volumes are, I think most of them are pretty alright. But the volume finale is always when shit goes down in the best possible way.
The biggest thing at the beginning of a volume that I can think of that I want to see is flying colors.
Oh yes! Oh, I'm so excited. That's gonna be a nightmare to animate. That is going to be the actual worst to animate.
Some of the things I've created, I have done pretty much entirely just to make animators / me, if I'm still modeling and rigging, hate me.
Yes.
Lilac.
Yes. Fucking Lilac.
Don't do that, Guy. She's like 12.
Fuck off. You know what I mean.
Yeah, I do.
I don't know if these are the types of jokes
I'll
that we
stop
should be making on
teasing
stream.
random things.
Yeah,
No.
yeah. Let's stop. Just you
Let's
guys
stop,
got
'cause
you guys get the memo.
always
There's a
doing
lot.
saying stuff which you guys don't know just to make just to make jokes.
Yeah, as I said, I think we got the memo across. There's a lot of story here.
Yep.
So again, there's and another thing, just in general, I like to reiterate about looking, and analyzing the trailers and the stories and all of that. The curtains are never just blue. There's always symbolism. There's always, greater meaning to everything we do.
One of the songs has one of the biggest twists of like the first couple of volumes hidden in it.
Oh yeah, it does.
And if you find that, I will both be incredibly impressed and incredibly kind of, oh no, they found it.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't think people will find it, but all
No.
of them. Fucking just honestly, all the songs, like every single character has some sort of twist to them, and the songs all massively hint at them. Hopefully, in a way that won't make sense until you actually find out. But if you do, if you do find out, please don't tell everyone. Please don't tell everyone. We want to surprise at least a couple people.
We do also have someone hanging around who has some model plushies, who may be making some pitch model plushies to make a chibi thing, a couple of skits every now and again.
Yes.
We don't want to do anything involving characters we haven't seen yet, so it would just be basically Pitch and Canaria for now. But
doing the
just
wholesome
sort of little
shenanigans.
wholesome shenanigans, which totally are not hinting at anything in the plot at all.
Everything we do is hinting at something. Oh, your theory craft, amazing. This show, Pitch is definitely for theory crafters. Like we again, there's a lot of stuff, and we'll be releasing things a little bit at a time. So to see if anyone pieces things together before
Also,
we actually get there. So definitely craft away.
Among our villains, we definitely have gender equality.
Wait, what? Sorry.
We definitely have gender equality among our villains.
What? Is there an exactly even split?
I don't think there's an exactly even split, but there's not that many either side.
Yeah. With the characters, I think we have a lot more male characters than we have female ones.
Yeah, we do.
That was
Mostly
definitely
because we're all male, and it just is easier to write them.
Yeah, there's like you.
I wonder.
Yeah, but I've been getting better at writing female characters in the
Does
last few
Rabbit
years.
count as a villain?
See, I'm not entirely sure what role they'll be playing in the story yet, so I'm gonna go with probably, but not necessarily. By the way, I hope you do realize that since you said Rabbit, people will know who it is once they're eventually introduced. So I hope this stream is long buried by then.
Never mind.
Uh,
I have found, just skimming through here, 6 male and how many female?
It's a beautiful sound.
Yes. 6 female. Exact splits with the ones that have a design on here.
Right. Yeah, no.
Now, what we've got to do, Guy, is now that I've said rabbit, we just need to make another character a rabbit.
Just make all instead of shadow people, the background characters are just gonna be rabbit faunas, all of them, like the same rabbit faunas.
Is there anyone we can make a rabbit? We could just make Big Yellow a rabbit.
Can we get more females in the future? Well, the vast majority of characters are kind of already made, and I guess we could gender flip a couple of them, but we are quite attached.
A couple of them
we already have, but with
most of them are kind of set where they are at the moment. It'd be rather difficult to change them.
We still have
how many of each.
Honestly, the thing is, while initially we had an overwhelmingly male cast, most of the characters that we've been creating, as time went on, quite a large portion of those are female. So we have been evening things out more. Actually, what is the current split?
22 of the ones on the lineup are female, And then there's also
Like how many? So
at
how
least
many?
one more character who's not on here who I've made who is.
So how many male characters we have in the lineup actually?
Hello.
Like I don't actually know what the. Oh, Luca. Yes. You are still cutting out a lot.
Hello.
Yeah, Dren, can you quickly check how many male characters we have?
Hello.
22 at the moment, so it's actually an even split on here as
shit.
well.
We actually did. Okay, never mind then. So,
Bear in mind, not every single character design I've made is currently on the lineup.
right, but still, the vast
also,
majority of them are.
Technically, Big Yellow could go either way. We don't know for them yet.
Oh yeah, I know what you mean now. Yeah, true. So, but still, actually turns out, yeah, we already fixed it. we evened it out.
We can hear you. I don't think you can hear us.
Yeah, Luca. Yeah, we can still hear you.
Yes, it finally connected. Since I'll be gone in 5 minutes, let me remind everybody that this stream has been going on for almost 4 hours.
Oh my god, you're right.
I thought the stream was just gonna be 2 hours. So since my Wi-Fi is dying, you guys go have your chats and continue the stream because I still have an April Fool's video to make.
Oh yeah, shit, you do.
We have an April Fool's video that we are making to put later out.
So yeah. See ya. Oh yeah, I'm probably gonna leave.
Out of here.
What do you mean by that? Archive, sorry?
All right, sayonara, fellas. Hope you guys have fun. Just hang around the Discord if you want to hang out with me with better Wi-Fi. Peacing out. Yeah.
Bye. Sorry, Archive, what do you mean by that?
Oh, he's great. Revealed 5 females, so 1 is remaining as of now? What do you mean? 5 female characters. I mean, out of the... Yeah, Archive, what do you mean by we revealed 5 female characters? And so with 1 remaining. I'm not sure what you mean. Cool. Guess let's... Well... Oh, yeah, I think 5 females. You guys said 6 as of now? Well, out of the main cast, there is, like, just the main 8.
What I meant by the 6 as of now, if you're talking about the villains... There is 1 who is not. Effectively, I said 6 as of now. I think because I wasn't sure how many males were, and there are.
Yeah, there is 1 character whose one villain whose gender is still up in the air.
Yeah,
otherwise...
we're trying to decide for them, but everywhere else it's kind of set.
Yeah, but yeah, no, it turns out we haven't even split. Yeah, so
also I have a disturbing propensity to lop limbs or eyes off of characters.
He does. He really does. Right. Also, I just realized I am actually getting quite hungry. We have been going for a while. Honestly, I'm surprised that we still have so many viewers. I figured people would eventually start leaving after 2 hours. But I will have to end the stream soon just because I'm getting really hungry.
So if you've got any other questions to ask, this is your time to do so. He's back.
Then wait for the stream to catch up with this. In the meantime, Dren, any other thing that you want to ramble about that wouldn't take too long?
No, because I ramble about much more. I'll reveal too much.
Oh, Archive is leaving. Bye. Thanks for dropping by.
Bye,
Thanks again for the reaction video. And yeah.
Spread the word. Tell a friend.
Oh, definitely. Right. So. See if anyone else has any more questions.
Like, comment, subscribe. I'm Jonathan Young. I'll see you next time. Sorry.
Yeah, sorry. So, Dren, you had another thing that you were going to talk about.
No, I said if I say anything more, I'll reveal too much.
Right. God, this is the thing. We usually, when we talk about Pidge, we we talk to people who, we find them learning all the spoilers. So we usually just end up, talking everything of just the story plans, and the characters, and the backstories, and all that. But here it's suddenly like, nope, we can't. I already reviewed a little bit more than I would have liked, and just hinted at so many things, but we can't actually talk about it. That's frustrating. I can't wait for future live streams when there are actually more story details out, because then we can actually fucking talk about it.
Yeah. There was something I was going to say, and I was gone ahead. Oh, yes. So my plans for this week, because I'm on holiday for a week, is to hopefully get Hans model finished. because once I finish that, Guy can actually start planning out the master trailer and doing sort of preliminary blocking out of the animation. Because Tango's in a place where he already can. And then from that point, progress of the trailer is no longer me being the bottleneck, it's Guy. That's what I like it to be.
Well, me and the other animators, but yes. Oh wait, no, the previous. No, that's going to be me, definitely.
Anyway.
Oh, also another.
Good to talk with you.
Yeah, another small tidbit of information is like just when it comes to characters. Canaria is another example of a character who ended up becoming more important than she should be because, she was just meant to be random child that Paige saves at the start, and then I added the ending scene of the trailer when I realized, oh wait, he's kind of gonna have to stick around with her now for that scene to make sense. And then I wrote the short story from her perspective. And again, she's a massively minor character in the main story. I think I can say this. Like, she's not really gonna be important, at least that's not the plan. But somehow she's becoming a much bigger thing than she was initially meant to be. Now copy-paste that for every one of our side characters, and you've got a picture of how messy our story is. Well, hopefully not messy, just big. But yeah, no, figured I'd start that one. Right, anything else you want to say before we end the stream, Jen?
No, I think that's it. Thank you very much for dropping in.
Yeah,
hopefully we'll be able to do another one of these at some point.
Definitely. This was fun.
And we will be cutting this up to make random little shorts to keep vague interest in the channel and help the algorithm for a while.
Yeah.
Basically, stuff like this will be stopgaps if we don't have anything else going on to try and boost numbers.
Yeah, please spread the words. Suck around. Right now, this is still. I think this is like out of the big, Ruby fan animations, the ones where the OC trailers with original characters and all that. This still is one of the smallest ones in terms of views.
Of course it is. It's the most recent key.
Yeah, I know. It just because it's the most recent. It's the smallest.
Next time we have a stream, Guy, let's actually say we're streaming on YouTube about a day before, so that people see it and know to come, instead of just starting it out of nowhere.
I definitely fucked that one up. So this was our first stream, and I did not know what I was doing.
Yeah, the reason we didn't do it last time was we didn't realize you had to sign up for streaming a day in advance.
Also, next time we're probably gonna have an actual GUI that isn't, just Discord.
Going to have an actual GUI instead of a fake GUI.
Yes. Wait, what? Actual? Oh yeah. By the way, my name is Guy, so that's the joke. At least that's my nickname, because my full first name is Guilherme, which no one can pronounce. It's Portuguese. No one outside of Portugal can actually pronounce that. So everyone so everyone just calls me Guy.
I have just insulted Guy's sainted mother by mispronouncing his name.
No, that happens all the time. Everyone mispronounces my name all the time. I'm used to it. I was born in Portugal and grew up in Germany. Someone getting my name right is an occasion. But yeah, right, no, I do actually need to go eat, so let's end this here. Bye guys, thank you so much for dropping by, this was so much fun, really want to